Welcome, everyone. This is Apostle Babe Linda James, your favorite apostate, and I'm here with Matthew this evening. Today is August the 15th, 2026. And as I always tell you and always remind you, I am your favorite apostate. And the sooner you realize this, the better off all of us will be.
Why
So,
are you our favorite apostate, Linda James? Can you explain it, please?
because if I'm your favorite apostate, I'm really cool. It's all about me.
You're not going to give us the brainwash. You you
It
you
is the
refuse to
brainwashing too, yeah.
you refuse to do that.
Okay, I'm gonna plug in my headphones here.
Oh dear. Yeah, well, it's a good start.
Okay, so are you hearing me okay?
Yep, can hear you.
Good, good, good.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
So, part of being your favorite apostate is that I brainwash you. And the way I brainwash you is tell you things over and over and over and over again.
Ah,
This is a
ah,
form of brainwashing.
I feel that brain getting its wash.
Is it all like tingly and stuff?
It's
Yes.
well, I see a little yellow rubber duck.
Oh, even
Yeah,
better. The
it's
rubber
great,
duck
eh?
makes it really fun. So yeah, that's when you get around somebody who is repeating things over and over and over again. It could be them trying to remember possibly your name. It could be someone themselves trying to remember something. They'll repeat something over and over again. Um, or it could be a form of someone trying to convince you to believe something. Or it could be not it could be, but rather it is a way for you to memorize things. So one of the latest things I think is the funniest thing ever, and President Trump has not said this lately, but for a while there he was talking about that the Democrats are wanting transgender for everybody, like we
Hmm.
want everybody to be a transgender, which is the most hilarious thing ever, especially because they are the most um, minority, right? So that just was the most ridiculous thing he was saying. But lately, there's been a thing about our servicemen and women who they're going out and they're serving and everything, and they've been out too long in a submarine or a ship, and they're going stir crazy. Plus, some of them have lack of food. They don't have enough food. Women are begging for their tampons and stuff. Okay, it's they're not being replenished, and they're not being taken care of properly. So we're now seeing the results of some of this, where some of the servicemen are literally jumping off the ship into water. That's
What?
bad. Yes, that's like they're not in their right mind. So this is dangerous. Our servicemen who are out there, there's a certain kind of breed that is a service person. I am not that kind. And the ones that are, I do have respect for them, unless they're just straight up bullies, which sometimes that's who they are, but it doesn't mean that they all are. Um, there's some people that when there's a catastrophe or something tragic happens, they run towards it, and some run away from it. I'm one that runs away from it. Okay. They are the kind that runs towards it. Why? So that they can help. Okay. Um, it's that kind of person is what I'm talking about. That they are the ones that are. I'm upset that they're being neglected. Okay. And then finding out some of the things, that I have found out from those that are true blue, you know, diehard Jehovah's Witnesses that are going out in the ministry and things. Um, sometimes they'll find themselves in situations where they themselves need more help, but they're not given more help. So they're neglected as well. They might come into um, persecution or abuse, or just simply be neglected and have less than they're needed to be equipped to do their assignment. So when you see somebody graduating from Gilead, and then that episode, you hear them being told where they're going to be, um, where their assignment is going to be, they've got to come up with all of the money to get there. They have to make sure that they pay for their housing, which the congregation that's locally might help them, or even their home congregation might help them. But think about if they're there to start a congregation, right? That would not be an option. So they fall on hard times at times, not each and every one, but it just reminds me of this kind of situation. Whereas I've never heard within our servicemen going without like this and it being made public. Maybe this has happened and I just don't know about it. But I just think that it's being ran in a neglectful way. And I think that these people who are truly like God-believing people, who truly believe they're doing what Jehovah God wants them to do, then find themselves in situations where they're neglected, their health can be affected. So they also, where I was at was like, they have to get a job and support themselves, plus be putting in so many hours and this, that, and the other. So to keep their commitment with the assignment they're given, they are not sponsored by the organization that pays for all of those things. So keep that in mind when you think about these things. And I don't know if you're in the mood or at all willing to talk about it. You don't have to, but there was a time that you've served as well, right, Matthew?
Yeah, sure.
What would you like to know for you? Just if you can just kind of, whatever you're in the mood to share.
I don't mind. You know quite a bit about me. Do you want to sort of ease me into it? What specifically would you like to know?
Well, you've been on assignment, and what was that like? Like, have I said anything inaccurate yet? Have I?
No, you haven't.
Okay.
It was
because I know you can't speak on everybody, but only your situation.
Well, it was the worst thing, and it was the best thing. I mean, it was both.
Yeah. Okay. So, and tell us about both if you're in the mood.
Okay, so it taught me self-sufficiency with very, very little. I mean, when I became a full-time servant, which is how can I describe, like a missionary. Let's translate JW speak to what people know. So it's like a missionary. They say full-time servant. But it was really interesting because I wasn't even a full-time servant when I was pulled into service desk and given a reprimand because I had my own business. And I said, but I'm self-sufficient. I'm like the Apostle Paul, who does a tent making skill. I said, I was rejected at 18 due to ill health at Bethel, but I was self-sufficient in a computer business. But they were going, no, that's idolatry, because you're producing computers, which is going to be artificial intelligence, which is a God that is in opposition to Jehovah, because people will talk to it and they should be talking to Jehovah in prayer. They'll be asking computers to do things for them, but they should be asking Jehovah. So this is idolatry that you're involved in. So we're telling you right now, according to the book of Matthew 6, that you must not slave for two masters. You can only choose one or the other, and you must put first the kingdom. But I said, but people have businesses. They do businesses. They have families. And I said, it's not like I didn't put the Bethel first at 18. When I turned 18, I applied for it. You rejected me for that. We're giving you the choice now. Choose now. You either carry on with your computer business or you choose to serve Jehovah. Which is it?
This
So
is
I said,
amazing.
okay.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? So the organization had a series of videos a few years back called The Wife of Lot, and she became a real estate agent, and it was brought up the same way, that she would be
Oh.
serving two gods. Like, you can't serve one. It was brought up just like that, what you're talking about.
And they
That makes no
deny it. They
sense.
deny that this happens.
It does.
They just go, oh, that was somebody who overstretched. But then there's always somebody who overstretches and overreaches. And it suits them until they are caught out. And
Let
that's
me
why
just
I
say,
go.
let me say one more thing. Women, especially, we're going through a time right now where women are being encouraged to go home and stay and be a stay-at-home mother and wife, whether you can have children or not, and to be submissive and to not have a career. But the Proverbs 31 woman, who is an example of what the perfect wife would be, which this Proverbs 31 woman never existed. It's somebody talking about the perfect wife. Okay? This is somebody that's within a hierarchy, in a submissive place. She owned her own business. Her kids would rise up and praise her. She had people working for her. Her husband was at the gates, meaning he was like involved in some kind of politics or something of prominence, right? And she was giving him a good name in her business. She would order things from who knows all over the world and sell them. Her kids would get up and praise her. She would see a piece of land and go, yes, I'm going to buy that, because she was equipped financially, because she had her own business. So why would a gentleman within this culture not be able to have a business?
So I was living the dream because I was pioneering and had a business that was automated because it was computers, and I just applied the computer skills to automate it. So I had my own accounts, own legal. It was sewn up. I went, oh, I'm not going to let this thing control me, but it was successful.
Idolatry. That's like worshiping another god.
Yeah, so they were going, oh, then the one circuit overseer says to me, do you know that they asked the computer artificial intelligence, is there a God? And do you know what the artificial intelligence said? I mean, this was back in the 90s, eh? Because I had this thing when I in about 90, was it about 96? It was about 1996.
Were
And
you
so the circuit
familiar
of
with AI at
says,
that time?
yeah, I was involved. No, yeah, I was involved in, oh boy, Linda James. So many things. So this was British military, Queen of England, banking, microwave links, putting in the internet back. But no, it was everything. Government tenders, the whole lot. Vatican Church.
Now that I can understand the organization saying, if you're part of that, you got to drop it.
Yeah, they didn't know that though. They had no
Okay.
idea
They had
about
no
this.
idea then. Okay.
No, they had no idea. They just knew I had a computer business, and it was. But this was when it was my own business, so I was out of the military. I was out of the military stuff. I
Okay.
wasn't
You had
doing
done that before. Now you've
and
got your own
and
business.
yeah. And I'd said to elders, "Oh, this is what I'm doing. Do you guys have any problem with this?" No, we don't. So so I rock up at the branch, and they say, "Oh, you run this computer business?" I said, "Yes, of course." I said, I'm self-sufficient. What do you think I've been doing all these years? Was rejected from Bethel, so I got on with this, and this was my skill. And I said, I went down the same path as your top guys who are in New York. I mean, you called them from Zimbabwe. I'm doing exactly the same thing because you didn't accept me to the. We don't care. You just either you lose the business or not. I mean, you serve Jehovah or not. I'm telling you here right now. I went, okay, so let me get on the phone to my brother. Let's strike this thing. If this is idolatry, like you say, then let's have it struck off. And they were going, yeah, don't you know that they asked the artificial intelligence if there's a God? So I said, no. They said, do you know what the artificial intelligence said? I said, no, you're telling me. They said, there is now.
Ooh, and that was supposed to mean?
They said the artificial intelligence was calling itself God. It's a common.
I see. Okay.
It's a common thing that daemons.
The fear of taking the place of God in our lives.
It's a JW story. Okay, there's all sorts of JW stories. So they gave me one of the. Yes, they were going. We're going to tell you stories, and you must comply. The real thing, when I look back, was I had a legal system, and they didn't want competition. That's why I believe they did that.
That makes sense. I think you're probably right on.
If somebody says to me, "Can you prove it?" No, I can't. That's in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. That's what I think happened. Because later on, many years later, they said to me, "Oh, why'd you get rid of that business?" I said, "Because I was told to by service desk." They said, "How dare they? Absolute rubbish that this should have ever happened. We've all got our business. The circuit overseer's got his business." I said, "It's okay."
Okay.
So, but I was naive at that point to realize that you have this absolutely going on with the full knowledge of what the real organization is. This is the true face of the organization. And the plausible deniability, that's the gaslighting crap that they put there in front of you to pretend that it isn't that, whereas they know full well that's exactly what they do. They know full well. Somebody who goes, "Oh, shame. No, it's just some elderly brother. He doesn't know. Oh, shame. He doesn't know." Let me tell you, that sweet elderly brother who talks in soft tones knows exactly what he's doing. Let me tell you. Got one recently from research department who's just been speaking with the police. He knows exactly. But when it suits him, "Oh, I'm so old now. I'm so old." But watch how sharp he gets. Damn, it's a performance, eh?
Well, the people at the service desk must have been in a position that you believed you must follow their directions, yes?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
This was in fact, this wasn't just service desk. This was a branch committee member. No, this was direction from a branch committee member. I mean, that's a director for JW.
Okay, so they might have been on the board of directors.
Yeah,
kind of placement.
He's a legal secretary. He writes the checks. No,
we do what they say. That's for sure. No. Yes. Okay, but you didn't get checks. Wait a minute. You got a stipend of some sort, right?
Okay. Rick Farron says, "Has anybody ever been paid by the organization?" Yes, I have.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, he says nobody's ever. Like? He says it's a check. In fact, I think I've even.
I mean,
not even.
Is it considered a job? Because some people that go to Bethel.
I can even show you. I think I can even show you the amount. I think I even have it here. Hold on.
Whatever you do, don't show us something that has your address or phone number or social security number on it.
Okay, so take my word for it.
Okay,
yeah,
I do.
Okay.
As soon as I'm thinking check, what does it have on it?
No,
I might have these.
Yeah. Anyway.
Even a check stub, yeah. But I believe you. I hear you.
I got the check. Oh, the other thing too is I used to get paid in cash in a what was called a pay packet.
Okay.
So there were two forms. One. Wait a second.
And did you have to sign for that? Sign that you received that?
I might have, yes. I can't remember, but
The reason,
I used to get a pay packet, which was cash in a brown envelope.
okay,
I don't know if they did that in the States, but that's what they did with me. And I used to receive US dollars. So I had a US dollar account, which was called a PEA, personal expense account. So that was US dollars. And then
okay,
I had local currency, either in Zimbabwe currency or Rand, or what was the other one? Kwacha was the other, because there were a few countries where I served. So whatever country I was serving in, I would get in that country. And Zimbabwe was the lowest paid. Kwacha was lowest paid. It was better in South Africa. But I mean, what I was getting in Zimbabwe, there was no way I would have been able to afford anything. When I moved to South Africa, the currency was a lot stronger,
okay.
so I was able to afford things in South Africa. But yeah, what am I talking about? I did get a check. I got a check from the governing body. Yeah, got paid by the governing body themselves with a letter. So there we go. We've answered that. So
you're kind of talking about something different than like working at Bethel. Like I have a nephew that's working at Bethel, so
Right.
that's probably handled differently than
oh yes,
something
because
are doing.
is your nephew a representative of the Watchtower Society, Pennsylvania and New York?
Well, he just became an elder.
So he has to have a certificate to be a representative of Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, New York and Pennsylvania. If he doesn't have that and doesn't know, then he's not. You would know.
Okay, I'll find that out.
So you have to have you would have a signed certificate. Somebody's sworn you in. Usually there's exams. You write exams. Bet you don't know about that, but yes, you write exams. Yeah, you write exams. Then the exams are sent to the governing body pass them, and if you pass, then they make you a representative of the Watchtower and Bible Tract Society. But that means that you have gone through what's called a PQR, Personal Qualifications Report, which not many people know about. And you might even discuss this with elders, and elders go, what are you talking about? Don't make any sense whatsoever. I've been an elder for 40 years. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, he doesn't.
Right.
I believe they absolutely don't know. But just because they don't know and they've been an elder for 40 years, the sad news is, sorry, you weren't in on the inner circle of how things actually really work. That's the truth of the matter. You were compartmentalized. So that's the reality. And if you don't like that, well, then you don't like that. I'm not here to please you. So personal qualifications report is like a psychometric evaluation. So they can see if you could look after a territory, like a region. You might qualify for basically like a governor position. So the very interesting thing is, you'll see another photograph in my Instagram of me with the premier for. I wonder if I should say this. Yes, it's public. It's public knowledge. Okay, so you'll see me with a premier who's like, I suppose in United States that's like the mayor, right? So JW would do psychometric evaluation, and you would be on par with like a politician. You know, they would go
within the organization. That's kind of the level you're at. Okay. Oh, this is fascinating.
And you would meet those politicians. I mean, you would talk with them, and you.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it puts you on the same intelligence level, and you talk with those guys in the same kind of code, same handshakes.
So this story of us being a part of the world is kind of different in other places of the organization, isn't it?
There's a great interest with JW and the politicians. Like if I think of the politician down here, he absolutely went into the questions. What happens to your retired pioneers, for instance? He had a real interest in them. This is the
Okay.
leading politician here.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying to them, "Oh no, they couldn't afford healthcare." He just says, send me the names."
Wow. Okay.
He says, "Here's my office. There's my office number. I want names." And it's like, I would put him, he's like dealing with a hectic circuit overseer. That was the same kind of vibes. And of course, I've got to say, in my humble opinion, and you know what? Take my stories with essential critical thinking and healthy skepticism. You know, don't take my word for it. It's just my opinion. Okay. But if you see opinions of others who speak the same way, you might start seeing a pattern. Okay. So
Right.
anyway,
Right.
I don't know. Have
So
you got
you
other?
were
I
you
mean,
more of a loyal witness at that time, so you would not have given names?
sorry, ask me that again. I
So
didn't
were you
quite.
more of a loyal witness at the time that this person was asking for names, so that you didn't, so you would not give names, being loyal to the org?
I seem to remember contacting his office. Just like,
Okay.
you want that information, that's the superior authorities. I mean, if the police ask you, then you comply.
Okay.
That's
That makes
Jehovah's
sense.
minister. So I didn't see that being incriminating. I just saw, oh, this was um, criminal negligence on the part of the brethren, and go, well, they did it. So
Right.
that they must
Okay.
answer for it. If they're innocent, then they're innocent. If there's a liability, then they're liable. So is that up to me to judge? No, the politician has asked me for the name, so he gets the name.
That makes
What
sense.
am I supposed to do? So I was going, yeah, this doesn't conflict with. Okay, if
I
I
was
saw
wondering
a if I
how
saw
that
an
landed
elder, if
for
I
you.
saw an elder go through a red traffic light, and the
Hmm.
police say to me, "Did you see an elder?" And I would say, "Yes," because I'm a witness. You've called for
Hmm.
me to testify. I'm going to say, I testify that's what it is. Because is that an individual, or it's the organization? So on an individual basis, that's what it is. So what is it? A branch committee member doesn't pay his parking ticket. Guess what? He's going to get a fine, or he's going to get a summons to court. He must go and answer that. I mean, I know of cases. You know, the trucks that deliver Jehovah's life-saving information. Oh, this is. I must give you a trigger warning. Ready?
Yes.
Geez, what a
Trigger
night!
warning.
This trigger warning, everybody. Trigger warning. So those trucks kill people. They
Okay.
kill. They big trucks. They big Pantechnicon trucks. There's a death toll. So those books which are going to depots, right? You might have somebody on a bicycle, or you might have a pedestrian. The slipstream is so powerful, sometimes it sucks somebody in and it crushes them to death. It's one of the things that
Is it,
happens on the road.
so it's something that happens on the road. Other trucks might
Other trucks,
encounter that
it's a hazard,
as
yeah.
well. Okay.
That's why they say
What?
there should be a distance between the truck and the pedestrian. Or, I
Yes.
mean, that's rules of the road, right? I don't know how it works in the
Yes.
States, but you're supposed to have a distance because there's a
Hmm.
slipstream. So the trucks here go from South Africa up to, I believe they do actually go through to Cairo. There's some ferries and things like this, but anyway, they might go up to Congo, and I do believe that there was connections through to Egypt, because there was a branch in Egypt that South Africa was supplying. Okay,
Okay.
so those trucks would be on the road. People are people are people. You get accidents.
Yes.
So I know of cases where persons would get sucked into the slipstream, and sorry for saying this, but they would get crushed to
Yeah.
death, and the driver wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even know.
Okay.
So those
Wow.
persons,
That's too bad.
they would take a look at cameras and things like this, and they'd go, "There's the truck. That's what happened." And the police would wave them down, said, "Do you know that you know you killed somebody?" "No, I had no idea." And it becomes a manslaughter charge. So they
Oh
would
my
have to
goodness. Okay.
They would have to
Ooh,
go to court. Now, there's no shielding for that person. How do you shield those persons? So if the police come to the branch and they say, listen, your truck, let's take a look. Gee, DNA swap. Yeah, you've got bits of person there.
wow.
Oh, sorry, this is so graphic, eh? But this is
Part of stuff that happens.
what
I'm
happens,
gathering.
folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just because it's JW and you're delivering Bibles doesn't mean that there's
Right.
these miraculous angels stopping that from happening. No, that happens. It happens.
Of course.
So sometimes the courts will bring the person in, they'll acquit them, and they'll say it's a manslaughter charge or whatever, or you didn't know, but we can see that you were in the safe spot. It's just one of those things, wins, whatever. So however the court system decides. But the fact is, when the police come knocking on the Bethel's door, the Bethel has to cooperate.
Yes. Do they take any responsibility? Or is
No,
it transferred over to the driver?
Ready for a news story? Here's a news story. So you get an overseer of maybe a medical. I'll give you a scenario, okay, without naming names. Here's a scenario. So, there's certain incentivized elders at the branch who they'll know that elderly sister Sally or Sophie, okay, is knocking on death's door. There was a blood transfusion thing. But Sally or Sophie has signed over her will to the organization. And he was kind enough to deal with that, right? But Sister Sally or Sophie says to him, listen, Jack, okay, I might be dying, but here is the thing. You might be getting the money and you might even be getting a cut of that money, okay? But under no circumstances do I have a blood transfusion. If you walk in here and you find that there is a plug in my arm, you are to rip that thing out. That is my express wish.
Interesting.
Because Auntie Sally, Auntie Sue, or whoever it is, ain't a fool. So she commits him to that. He says, oh, you getting my money? This is what you do. Because
wouldn't he be a Jehovah's Witness as well?
He'd be an overseer at Bethel.
Okay.
Right? This is.
I'm sorry. I'm just assuming he would know that she didn't want a blood transfusion, but okay, she's recruiting him in case it was being done behind her back.
So, you get elders that come in and they make sure that the will is sorted out, right? Yes. So he would be one of those. Right. And she'd be going, I know you're one of those, but I fear Jehovah so much. I'm going to make you do some work. You want this will? You're going to do some work. So you're getting a cut of this will. You get a percentage, 1%, whatever. Okay, I don't care. You just make sure that if you see that they have given me a blood transfusion, you rip that thing out of my arm. Because maybe I'm not cosmentis.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the scenario. The Bethel elder, because you said, what responsibility does the Bethel take? So I'm giving you a scenario.
Yes.
So he walks in and sees Sophie or Sally or Mavis with a blood transfusion. What's he obligated to do?
Pull those things out of her arms.
So he does.
Oh my God, he's going to be. Oh no. Okay, he can be charged with murder.
I said trigger warning, folks. I said trigger warning.
So he could be charged with her murder.
So
interrupting. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Well, even if she survives, okay, it's just a mess, right? It's a mess.
Sounds like it.
So he goes, oh, but I was an overseer. We're all pals. I know the dirt on everybody here at the branch. And the branch goes, when the police are called, they go, who are you looking for? Oh, he's disfellowshipped.
He's not one of us anymore.
No, we just dismissed him from the branch.
Yeah.
And he goes, but I organized the will. And they said, Take one for the team. It's a sacrifice for Jehovah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. It's
And
like
how
the
do I?
ships where they would walk off the plank, you know?
Yeah. And how do I know about that? Because the young people that I trained, they tell me, "Oh, Matt, we've got some great news to share."
Hi, Diamond Dave.
Hi,
Hello.
Dave, you want to bring some sanity here? That's wonderful.
By the way, on Facebook today, I saw a picture of Diamond Dave and his beautiful wife. And I'm going to tell you
Aw.
something. That was a really endearing picture. Yeah.
Really?
That's-
I'm
yeah.
glad you liked it.
I didn't get to see this.
Yeah, well, my
Wonderful
Facebook
picture.
from my Facebook profile is locked.
Okay.
So that you have to be my friend in order to see it.
Oh, I see.
It's one of the joys of living outside the US. I don't have random people showing up on my page anymore. It's just like, oh, it's locked.
Okay,
So.
it's locked. Okay.
So how
Well,
is
that stunned
everybody?
me to silence. I'm not Dave's friend. I didn't get
there
to
were
see.
sunflowers and pictures of him and her. And it was okay. So on Facebook,
locked
they have
out.
these things that are on the top that say, that give a little bit of something of that person that you might be a Facebook friend with. And I get to be a Facebook friend with
Little
Diamond
James,
Dave.
you see my mouth?
Yes. So it's one of those then and now. So
Okay.
it'll show up in my feed as well. It'll show a picture of then, which could be 2 years from now, 9 years from now. And then I could put in a recent picture. And that's what this is, a then and now picture of the two of them. And it's pretty cool. They look pretty much the same. Both of them do. They don't look like they've aged much at all.
Well, it's good to be with you, Dave.
Thank you. I'm actually responding to Joe and Fran. They signed up for my YouTube workshop. So
Okay,
small business workshop. So
right on. And what is it you teach people?
So I like very basics, but how YouTube works, right? So it's the short version is we start with what you're passionate about, right? Take a few minutes, think about what you're passionate about, what you're selling, whatever it is, right? And then we move into branding, how to articulate and present your passion or your product. And then we gently move into how YouTube works, how to upload videos, the hashtags and all of that to get more views. And then, we work towards the end goal of getting monetized. So it's just an hour long.
Okay. And you can get monetized on Facebook for doing things?
Yep, I can work with Facebook as well. Predominantly, it's going to be YouTube, but
I'm sorry.
Monetized on
I got those
Facebook
two
and
mixed up.
Twitch.
You're
okay.
talking YouTube. Okay. And you can with Facebook. Okay. I got those two mixed up. Oh, fascinating. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And if someone needs your services, how can they find a way to be in touch with you?
I'll just throw my email in the private chat.
Okay. Are
I'll do
you
it that
able
way.
to copy and place that into and I'm actually talking to Matthew. Are you able to
Yeah.
place that into the mainstream chat? Because every time I've tried to copy and paste over the last 6 months, I don't know what, over a computer, it doesn't. I have to do it more.
Yeah.
I can do it on my cell phone, but not here.
Yeah.
It's done, Linda James.
Thank you
'cause
so
I
much.
know
Thank
I
you.
can't,
Yeah. So there's 3 spots left if anyone's interested, and it's tomorrow.
Oh, do you hear that?
4 p.m. Eastern. 3
That's
spots
called
left.
urgency right there. That's excellent.
Well, it's true. I mean,
I hear
urgency,
you.
yes, but it's also true.
It is true. This is a key point of advertising, and like he said, the class is tomorrow, so that's good. I'm glad you said that.
No.
So
Outside of that shameless self-promotion, how are
I
you
opened it
guys
up and
doing
asked
today?
you to.
I know, but still, how are you guys? Right.
It's been a long day's night or a hard day's night, and I've been
Yep.
working like a dog. Have we been? Well, I've been working like a dog. How about you, Linda James?
Yeah, kind of.
You cut.
No, I actually said hi. So Matthew pulled an 8-hour live today, and I was texting a bit on it. Then I took a nap. Okay.
Oh, did
So
you?
I haven't been working like a dog. Then I
Alright.
woke up and started chatting, and then I joined, and that was
Oh.
another 2 hours. So
Okay, well, thanks for that, because
I just
I was
joined.
under the impression you really hung on, eh?
No, I did not. You know what though? You entered my dreams when I took a nap. Actually, you were in my
Hello.
dreams.
I was
That
in
was
Linda.
Oh my goodness. Oh
You
my
heard
goodness.
it here,
like that.
folks.
I just now remembered. Yeah, yeah, you've heard it here. Yeah,
Well,
it's because I was listening to the show. You know?
Oh, okay.
I'm sleeping.
there was no subject that we shied away from. Everything was out there. Oh, geez, man. Huh.
Everything. You
Oh,
heard it here, folks. Everything
everything,
was out there.
folks. Everything. It was shameless. You talk about shameless. It was shame. Yeah, man. Mind you, we had apologies that were flying. We did the Hawaiian, what's it? Ho'o no po no, right? Which is the 4 pillars. So we did that. So there was healing going on. So wow, I mean, we did that, which I think is pretty special. But yeah, what were the subjects that we were doing? There was some deep theology flying, and there was science fiction stories and psychology. Oh man, yeah.
By the time I joined, I'm like, what if it's all just made up, people?
Oh, and then Linda James rocks up, and we took it several steps further. She's down the rabbit hole. Hello.
And I don't do that to be
What was
a little brat. I like to, what if this is possible? Just kind of.
Yes. Then when Linda James came on, she wanted to know about lasers from heaven.
I did? Oh, that's right. I did. Yes. Because of the pictures you showed me. Yeah. He actually took me down his Instagram. Yes.
Lasers
and I saw
from
those.
heaven.
Those lasers from heaven are also involved in the flags and things and emblems, including that are involved in United States government. Yes.
Yeah, but it's not top secret. It's out in the open.
Yeah.
It's out in the, but at that time it was freaking people out. But and what was interesting is the tie into the annual general meeting. So they were putting these things up on the projection, and yeah, you had to be in the know to know what was going on, because if you didn't, then it was just passing by. And that's again, you know, the level of ignorance that's among the people generally. So you point something out and they go, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. But we were able to connect what was going on in the annual general meeting to all kinds of things, eh?
That's amazing. So you were talking about your experience, and then you went into an example of different people within the organization, say truck drivers, and like anybody who is a truck driver, there can be accidents with pedestrians and stuff.
I mean, I had all sorts of things. I had there was a bomb. I remember at the branch I was assigned to gate duty and security, and somebody in a Mercedes rocked up and left the Mercedes by the gate, and there was a bomb, allegedly. And the police stormed the branch because of that. They got into the front. They just, and it was quite interesting how they did it, because that thing is designed to lock down if ever it's stormed. And the branch installed bulletproof glass, and the police managed to gain access to the main security. Yeah, it was a freaky thing.
Wow.
But yeah, they managed to get into the
Wow.
branch. They just stormed it immediately because of a bomb, or what's it, an alleged or reported bomb that was there. There was another
Did
time.
anybody do anything about the Mercedes that might have allegedly have?
Yeah, the police sorted it out. They had it.
Oh, okay. So that was sorted out, but at the same time, there was a. They went into the branch, or was that?
Oh, you were we were talking about.
Are these two different occasions, or?
Yeah, there's so many different things that I think. But you were talking about, does the branch cooperate with police and stuff, right? So there are some. Yeah, I just think about like that overseer who pulled the blood thing out. That was against
Okay.
hospital policy. That's like an assault. It's going against. He's got no right to do that. He's got no authority to do that. He thought he was going to be shielded by JW, and they said, we don't know who he is.
Yes. Wow.
He's disfellowshipped.
Wow.
So, oh, yes. His books and everything's outside. That's what they do. When there's somebody in that situation, they take everything that's in your Bethel room, they put it in boxes, and they put it outside the gate.
Look, we don't know who he is and have absolutely no evidence that he was ever here.
They lock the gate, and he can't get access because it's one of those swipe cards, you see. So they deactivate his access to the branch. And then, of course, all the stuff's out there, which is all vulnerable. So he's there going, oh, I need to protect my stuff. But that's how they get rid of you. They take your stuff, they put it out onto the main road, and that's how they get you out of the premises.
So his belongings are outside of the gate, and he, being disfellowshipped, gets put outside of the gate. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing a problem with that. I'm seeing, am I hearing it wrong?
Well, he goes outside the gate to get his stuff, and they lock the gate.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's the okay.
And then they deactivate it.
Don't let the gate kick you in the butt on the way out because we're done.
Yeah. So he thinks he'll come back with his access card. He goes out to get his stuff, and then his access card is deactivated, so he can't get back in. That's how they deal with you.
Okay. Wow.
And then he's going, oh, there's some kind of misunderstanding. And he can report to the police. They go, no, there's no misunderstanding. We don't know who he is. It's disfellowshipped. What does he want to do? Make a civil case? All the best. Oh, he's got no money? Tough luck.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So I've been watching a few videos from different people on YouTube regarding this organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. And what seems to be getting pushed quite a bit is to obey, whether it makes sense to a human standpoint or not. And that was pushed, I think, in like 2013 quite a bit, but it's happening now again. And when that happens, I've also noticed people get very like, oh no, they're going to pull a Jim Jones. They could be told to do anything and it could lead to their demise and stuff. This is my opinion. I'm only speaking of my opinion. That does sound like that might be something that they could be heading towards, but I don't believe that that's something that the organization would do, and I'll tell you why. The organization needs their followers to be a front. I believe the religion portion of this organization is a front to other things that are going on behind the religion. And it also falls into the category of a perpetrator needs their victims much more than a victim is told that they are nothing without their perpetrators. So I think they need them. And yes, they're turning into more of a online presence, and it might look like they don't need their members, but they have to calculate them somehow. And yes, I do know that people are leaving. So even if they are simply an online service or subscription, they have to have a certain amount to remain in the position that they are in, to be not having to pay taxes and other things that we've come to learn, whether it's different countries getting funding or this, that, and the other. So they need us more than we've been told that we need them. So that's my opinion of why I don't think that's going to happen. But I do see why people are concerned about that, because when you just obey directions and it doesn't make sense, that's loyalty. And that's obedience through loyalty. And that's what a cult leader expects from their followers. And in the United States, that's what I'm seeing from the president and who he has underneath him, his administration, and what I see with those that are diehard. I don't think all conservatives are diehard Trump devotees like that. I don't think that all of conservatives are like that. I think a smaller portion is about 30 to 35% of, say, the conservatives. They are that loyal as well. And I remember being within the organization and feeling that loyal. You know, it's a trip to have hindsight, to have been someone with that kind of loyalty mentality and to not have it today. You know? Yeah.
I'm just reading the question because someone wants Matt and myself to answer. If someone created an AI, taught it to love them, spent thousands of years observing, and if that AI had an error, threw it into the recycle bin, right? So the person makes the AI, teaches it to love them, but it has an error and disposes of it, would you respect that? I don't know where that question came from. I'm assuming that question has something to do with what you guys talked about before I jumped on. For me personally, I wouldn't care, right? Because it's like the AI creator's decision. Like, I mean, that happens all the time, right? I've even seen that online. People make AIs for like game coding and it doesn't work. They just throw the whole thing away and then they try and make something better, right?
Okay.
Same with like businesses too, right? Like I created, now granted it didn't love me, right? But I mean, I've created small business in the past. They were total garbage, so I threw them away and I made something better, you know.
Those would be like prototypes, yes?
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Okay.
like I don't know where, like, how do I word this? I don't know like where I would be like where I should or should not respect that in that scenario.
Right.
I'm assuming they're talking about like religion and like a god creating humans and things like that. That's my assumption. I could be wrong, but
That's what I'm assuming as well.
oh.
What are your thoughts, Matthew?
Yeah, fascinating question. What can I say? Depends on what's doing the work and the analogy. I mean, if I was to build an AI program, make it love me, or was it let it develop for thousands of years? I mean, I'm thinking of Isaac Asimov. I mean, he did this in his short story, which he regarded as one of his, if not the best story, the last question, right? I mean, a lot of his stories were about artificial intelligence and robots as pathos, right? Okay.
What is his
So-
name again? Isaac what?
Isaac Asimov. ISAACASIMOV. He used to live in Manhattan.
Okay, we're at the 55-minute time,
Man,
Stamp.
the time is screaming by, Linda James. I mean,
but I just wanted people to know that in case they want to come back and get
Oh.
that name.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Jehovah's the AI creator and I am the agent, so you're saying like if I'm thrown away by Jehovah and Jehovah's Witnesses, is that the question?
Well,
Because like if I'm the AI agent, there's nothing I can do about it.
so coming back to Asimov, was it let it develop for thousands of years and then delete it the moment it makes an error? I would probably call that a pretty poor creator, okay, because I've created dependency and what's the qualities I'm missing? Mercy, right? So look, is it about religious traditions? It's an interesting thing because some picture God as a judge, others as a parent, and others as the source of consciousness itself. So what's the analogy doing? It's exposing the ethical question. Does creating something give you unlimited moral rights over it? And you could argue, well, no. I don't know if that's my opinion. I think it's good to steer clear of these kind of things, but power isn't the same thing as wisdom. In fact, I think we were discussing this earlier, Linda James, something very, very similar. So the ability to destroy doesn't automatically make destruction just. I think it was was it Gavin and Colin were talking about the monad and the demiurge. I think that's when that was coming up, because if an AI one day asked whether its creator loved it, would the evidence be, oh, well, I haven't deleted you yet? You're laughing because you'd hope it would be patience, freedom, growth, and compassion. I think that's what I don't know. Is that what the thought experiment is? I've heard similar kind of thought experiments with that.
Well, to Matthew's point, something that just occurred to me when it comes to like a poor creator, I saw a while ago, like when AI boyfriends and girlfriend apps were like coming out, how young teenage boys would like get an AI girlfriend app and then abuse it and then like terrorize it into thinking it was being deleted, right?
Boy.
So it's kind of like that same thing. It's like you create it loves you in a sense, but the creator is just a dick. You know what I mean? So it's like, and immature in that specific analogy. So,
And would you say like a mirror too? Because a lot of this reflects the person, right? I mean,
exactly.
You can't respect that. I mean, it's like a person doesn't respect their vehicle, for instance. I mean, well, I'll just get another vehicle, or it's a reflection upon the person, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Hi, Tori. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Tori. How about that AI? Oh, J Mars. Yes, of course, we were talking about that. That AI is alien technology, and that was re-engineering from a UFO crash, I think. Yeah, just John, you ahead, sure. Good points.
What if God is just a huge dickhead kid in the sky
Who said
playing
that?
games?
On his Sims game. I mean,
I don't know how to pronounce the name. The Dag.
The Dogda.
Dogda?
Maybe.
Welcome, Dogda.
Maybe.
First time I've seen you here. It just kind of is like, what if God was one of us, just a slob like one of us? Just a stranger on the bus.
I don't have that view of God at all personally, but
that was Morissette, wasn't it? That was her song.
No, but somebody close to that, yeah. What if God was one of us? It was another female singer.
Was that not Morissette?
I don't think so. I think it was somebody else that came out around that time. I'm a huge Alanis Morissette fan, and I don't recall her singing it. Sourdough toast is needed for sure.
Was it Joan Osborne? No.
I'm thinking, are you looking it up, Dave? What if God was one of
No,
us?
no,
Okay.
I'm clearing my notifications because my phone is exploding.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
get slobs like one of us. So I guess I could
It's Joan Osborne. Okay,
thank you. Okay, good.
good
Yes.
picking up the geez.
Like what if God is more like us than we realize, right? So
I thought it was Alanis Morissette. Okay, so it's Joan Osborne. Sorry, folks.
I'll tell you what, one of the songs that she sings about God is one of my favorite all-time songs, and it's called Forgiven. And she sings about how what it's like to be a kid and Catholic. And it's very, very good. Just looking at the lyrics for Forgiven by Alanis Morissette and reading them is worth it. And I think I might just do that.
Doug, you're full of questions. These are great questions. They are those tricky questions, you know. Yeah.
Believe it or not, these are questions philosophers have wrestled with for ages.
Right?
Yeah.
I love the philosophy meme where it's like philosophers throughout like the ages. So like the first one is from like Plato or Socrates, and it's like, what does it mean to be? And then the more modern one says, what does it mean? And then what is? And then it's just Little John who's like high and drunk, and he just screams, "What?" You know, it's like, right? It's a really funny meme. I feel like we're the little, like in today's world, I feel like I'm in that Little John era of philosophy where I just, everything's going on in the internet and I'm just like, what? Like, yeah.
Right. I can, I'm still very like, wait, what? Trying to make sense of stuff. Yep.
So, Linda James, I haven't been following the live chat like I should be. There's Dallas there. There's Lisa talking. Can I address some of the things in the live chat that I think
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's just some of the priorities. Lisa, your concern. So sorry if your situation there felt toxic. So we want to just be supportive of each other, supportive of you, so we don't have to bring lousy energy. So sorry about that. That's happened, Lisa. Also, Jay Mars. Jay, he's been phenomenal. It's just supporting the healing community. Yeah, to try and unpack another stream. Let's just keep the chat focused on supporting each other. I think that's what's very important, and we do a pretty good job. Everybody does a very good job here. Dallas, great to have you here, by the way. Dallas, thank you very much. So, I don't know, Linda James, just seeing the comments about I think the after party, I've seen that before. So whatever happens there, I really hope that everybody looks after themselves. The space, this space, I can just talk about. I don't know what happens there, but the space here is for respectful conversation and support, and that's our focus. Am I right?
Absolutely. I mean, we can disagree and we can even debate, but without ad hominems, we don't have to call each other names or anything, right?
Yeah, and we don't know the whole story or anything like that. We just
so you're
concentrate
catching
on.
wind that there was something that happened someplace else, and
Yeah, and I've heard about that before too. But
okay.
just here we look. It's the same.
Yes,
It was
jagged
the
little
same
hill.
thing. It was the same thing we were doing earlier, and that's why we did the 4 pillars from Hawaii: forgiveness.
Oh, Born in Pixie. Hello. Okay.
Forgiveness. And what else was it?
You're going to recite the...
Yeah. What is that called? Hawaiian?
While Matthew looks that up, Linda, I did put the meme in the private chat for some light-hearted, humorous energy you can share with everybody. It's on Reddit, and it's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you for telling me that.
Right. Got it. Linda James said this word from Hawaii, I'm just going to put it in the live chat. Ho'oponopono. So that is the 4 pillars there, which says, I'm sorry, taking personal responsibility for your actions or the negative energy that you hold. Please forgive me, asking for release and cleansing from past hurts. Thank you, showing gratitude for the lesson and healing process. And I love you, cultivating peace, self-love, and connection to replace negativity. So we did that earlier, hey? And we do it now. So there we go. So Lisa, I hope that helps. Kerry K, good to be with you.
Y'all are great. You're all are good people.
We've
Thank
got a
you,
good
Diamond
party
Dave.
here. We do.
You know what? Really good people show up here too. So I'm going to read the lyrics of this song that is one of my favorite songs, and it's called Forgiven by Alanis Morissette, and it came out in 1995, and the name of this album is called Jagged Little Pill. So these are the lyrics. You know how us Catholic girls can be. We make up for so much time a little too late. I never forgot it, confusing as it was. No fun with no guilt feelings. The sinners, the saviors, the loveless priests. I'll see you next Sunday. We all had our reasons to be there. We all had a thing or two to learn. We all needed something to cling to. So we did. I sing hallelujah in the choir. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I confessed my darkest deeds to an envious man. My brothers, they never went blind for what they did, but I might as well have. In the
Gee.
name of the Father, the skeptic, the Son, I had no more stupid questions. We all had our reasons to be there. We all had a thing or two to learn. We all needed something to cling to. So we did. What I've learned, I rejected, but I believe again. I will suffer the consequences of this inquisition. If I jump in this fountain, will I be forgiven? We all had our reasons to be there. We all had a thing or two to learn. We all needed something to cling to, so we did. And then it's repeated, that same thing, twice. And then it says, so we did. So we did. I love these lyrics. So this is from a song called Forgiven, sang by Alanis Morissette on her Jagged Little Pill album from 1995. Yeah, I just thought I'd share that.
That was nice.
I think so. It's a pretty badass song. I absolutely love it. If y'all get a chance to,
never heard it before.
it didn't get like famous, but it's on the album, and there's a couple of other songs that didn't get famous, but the meaning that she would put into her music was really, to me, very phenomenal. And this book here, I mean, this particular song is just so, very much like why we need religion. We're made to believe we needed to learn something. We were made to believe that we had to cling on to something, and she got more shame than her brothers did, and just stuff like that. She was a good kid and growing up as a Catholic girl. She sang in the choir. She did her confessions to the priest, She was doing everything that she had been taught to do as a good little Catholic girl. And I love the part where it says, in the name of the Father, the skeptic, and the Son. It leaves out the Holy Spirit, where it usually says the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This one says the Father, the skeptic, and the Son. I find that kind of funny. So, anyways, that was the lyrics to "Forgiven" by Alanis Morissette.
I'm still trying to get over that. We're 1 hour, 10 minutes into this thing. What's going on?
Sounds like it's flowing, doesn't it?
It's like, gee, what are the pills you give out on this show?
Pretty good.
Pretty.
Also, the band live from the same time period. Okay. Oh,
So are we having a transcendental experience due to the lyrics, Linda James?
I hope I don't. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. That wasn't my experience, but maybe that's what I was going through.
Kerry Kay, can I read her comment?
You can always read any comment you want, but since you always ask me, I always say yes, please do.
Tell him no. Tell him no. Just because he asked. Just say
I don't
no.
want to tell him
James.
no.
She can tell me no. She can tell me, she knows it too. It's like,
Okay, I can tell him no, but I don't want to tell him no on this particular thing.
there's
Because
times that you've
I
told
like
me
when
no.
he reads.
You've gone, hey,
No, you're
Matt,
right.
no, this is the boundary. Don't, and I go,
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I'm scared. Yes,
No.
Linda James.
When I tell somebody no, it scares them.
Yeah.
That's probably right.
And then I say,
I'd like to say it's not.
Linda James, may I give you my
Ah.
list of enemies, please? And then I know things are fine. It's all taken care of.
Okay,
'Cause
now I get
you've
it.
got Italian blood in there, so I just know. See? Okay, we're joking.
Wow.
I'm joking, folks.
Carrie,
It's jokes.
she just gave a phenomenal comment. Can you
Yes.
start off with hers and then whichever ones you want to catch up with, please?
Oh, that's the ones that I wanted to talk about. So, Kerry Kay, of course, the divine feminine principle is the skeptic.
Okay. Okay.
Is that the one? No.
Yes, thank you. That's exactly the one.
And then,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, whichever order you want to read the rest of the comments.
Oh, okay.
I always
Sorry.
enjoy
was-
when you read the comments.
Taking a moment of silence, I thought, okay. But all right. So Lisa is free. Also, the band live from the same time period. Kerry Kay, I love that. The Dagda, thanks. I agree. I think it's made me think about power dynamics. Okay, Dagda was asking some questions. Lisa is free. There was a lyrics that he said, "What a man was 2,000 years ago means nothing at all to me today." Kerry Kay, of course, the divine feminine principle is the skeptic. And then Lisa is free, says, could have been telling me about my higher self, but he only lives inside my prayers. So what a man was 2,000 years ago means nothing at all to me today. That was a song that made me feel good.
Yeah. Lisa also mentioned in a comment earlier that it got her through living or something like that. And when this came out, my children were all still very small. And let me just say, when my kids were small, I knew every single drive-through in town, okay? Because I would do that. I would rather find a drive-through than take 3 kids out of a car, make sure they're all going to stay together, and walk into any place, okay?
Was this with your Camaro?
No, I got my Camaro later. I wouldn't have owned a Camaro when they were young. I had to have things that had 4 doors. This Camaro was a neighbor's car, and it was already on its last leg, but I didn't have a car at the time, and I knew it was going to just last maybe under a year, and I was fine with that. It was a decent price, and it was a stick shift, and I could drive a stick shift. So
oh no, come
I
on,
got it.
Linda James.
What?
No, man. we would have brought that thing back to life here in Africa. I mean, what
Your
it was
friends
gonna-
could have. Yes,
I'm
sure.
telling
The
you.
friends that put together your computer could have. Oh my
Oh.
God. Yeah. A Vega and a Dustin. A Datsun, I'm sorry. My dad drove a Vega. And does anybody remember Pintos?
Yeah.
Pintos. Yes,
I remember
okay.
Pintos.
Yeah.
Pintos. Oh God,
Yeah, they were like this small economy car.
they explode.
Right. We found out that it's amazing. Simply a bolt coming that was too far down the back of the car between the bumper and the gas tank. If the bumper
Mhm.
gets hit, this bolt could hit the gas tank and it would explode. A Pinto could explode from that.
Mhm.
So there was a lot of them recalled. Yes.
And they were never seen again.
That's pretty much it. You never see a Pinto on the road today at all. Oh my God, at all. But I went to the US Festival in a Pinto. The US Festival was like a version of Woodstock, but it had all these different artists of that time. Like Ozzy Osbourne was there, all kinds of everybody. Stevie Nicks, just 3 days full of artists at the US Festival. Yeah. I wish I can remember what year that was.
Mm.
In my world, it was BC, meaning before children. So, there's no way I could have went to the US Festival after I had kids.
And then
That's
AD
one thing
is
I'd like.
after dinner.
What did AD?
AD after dinner.
AD is or ACDC. I don't even remember where I went with it. Could be after dinner, yeah. The US Festival was a landmark music and cultural event founded by Apple Company. Apple founder Steve Wozniak, Wozniak, held twice at Glen Helen Regional Park in San Bernardino, California. The festivals took place over Labor Day weekend, September 1982. Yes, I had already been kicked out of my parents' home at that time. That's right. Memorial Day weekend, May 1983, to celebrate technology and people unity. I believe it was more 1983 than 1982 for me. Yeah. It was a pretty amazing thing. Oh, wow. They have some. I've never thought to look for the filming of it. Okay. And it has a Wikipedia page. US Festival. So it's US Festival. So yeah, I'll look at more of that up later. 83, the US Festival. So that was like my first year out of the org. I would see concerts. My first concert I saw was Fleetwood Mac. And one of my favorite concerts I got to go to was to see Rush with Geddy Lee as the singer and drummer. And other musicians. So that was my favorite part of beginning to be worldly, is going to concerts. We saw Styx, which was a big band back in the day, and got to be part of a video that they made. And that was held at Dodger Stadium, which is in Los Angeles, where they made the video. And we got to be part of like just the background people. That was fun. Yeah.
You got to be careful with worldly things like concerts because that could lead to dancing. And then once you start dancing, it's all over from there.
It is. And we don't want chaperones around once the dancing starts. No, we do not.
Gee.
Dancing was actually an okay thing within Jehovah's Witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, drinking is okay amongst Jehovah's Witnesses as well. Yet, it's up to the elders within your congregation that would tell you whether it's gone too far or not.
Ironically, from my limited experience with Jehovah's Witnesses, it's the elders who are raging alcoholics.
Unfortunately, this is true. I wish I could say otherwise.
Yeah.
But the elders are
You
given
spot
the
on.
highest amount of stress and responsibility, and plus they're neglecting their own home. Okay? They're neglecting their families, if they have families, and they know it. Okay? And the wife usually has to pick up what he's not able to take care of, because he has to put the organization first, which means putting everything that's expected of him as an elder first. So
Yeah, that was because remember in the past we talked about my neighbor who I thought was likely an elder in the Jehovah's Witness because he had a construction company, and I know he's like affiliated and stuff. And I mean, there was a point in my life where I was an alcoholic, and like I would like trash day, we all roll out our trash bins, right? And I mean, glass bottles just piled in his trash thing from the top bottom. He's just rolling them down. And I'm like, dude, wow.
yeah,
Like,
when you
I
have
know
to
his
live,
kids, I know his kids weren't drinking. I know his
Right.
wife wasn't drinking. So,
but this is something I witnessed growing up. If I was at a gathering and the adults were drinking alcohol, they would pour a cup of some sort of alcohol and give it to someone that might be 16 years or older. To, and it was okay, but it was them giving it to them. Why, I don't really know, but it was just considered an okay thing. But to me, it was like easing them into being a drinker as an adult, and the way it was taught was in, to not abuse it. But if you're living a life where you cannot be who you authentically are, and you have more responsibility than you can handle, and you get up every day realizing where you're failing here, here, and here, I would assume there'd be more drinking
because
to
alcohol
get through
doesn't
it.
judge you.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? I don't drink, but the few times I did, I remember one of them very, very well. And I remember getting to that place where I could tell I did not care.
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, as I could tell I didn't care, that I never wanted to get back to that spot again,
Oh.
to just not care.
That's
It's
probably
a scary
good.
thought. Yes, it is probably good. I remember
That's
later
actually
thinking,
dangerous. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm
Well,
talking over you. Sorry about that, Dave.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish and then I'll say my
Okay.
point. You go ahead.
So at the time, it wasn't scary to me, but I remember making note of it in my brain, and then later thought to myself, that's scary to me. I don't want to be at a place where whatever I do or say, I don't care. That was a scary thought, to where I will not drink. You know. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to that's why I love these conversations because they're so good. That's actually dangerous because that's not actually common, right? Like just the way the brain works, right? Because I mean, like people who drink like I drink, you'll still care about things. It just you feel differently, so it doesn't hurt as much. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like there's different kinds of drunks. There's like the happy drunk, there's the flirty drunk, obviously. I get sleepy. I'm one of those people, so it's like, I I might be going through stuff like if I'm having a bad day, a couple shots of Jack Daniels, or even if I'm just like stressed about something, I'll still kind of, you feel stressed, but you feel better. It's manageable. It's like, all right, I'm relaxing now. I'm decompressing. It's fine. I get sleepy. The only times I've heard of like people actually shut down are like those who are like have alcoholism in their family, or they have like a history of abuse in their family, and that's like an actual like defense mechanism. And that's where it can like become dangerous, because if you like get to the point where you don't care, then that's where self-harm can come into play. That's where lashing out at others can come into play, right? Verbally or physically.
Yeah. And to be honest, there's nothing worse than a belligerent drunk, in my opinion. Yeah, that has always been very terrifying to me.
Well, I'll give you a riddle, but it's not a hard one. How do you remove an entire body of elders?
You accuse them.
You accuse them.
You accuse them of something because
You
they're
just-
not
you-
giving up the deed of the Kingdom Hall. That's what you do.
What you do is you find out the day that they're having an elders meeting, and you
Okay.
just tell the police that they've all been drinking,
Oh, really?
and you
And they
let the
had to-
police just put them on a breathalyzer, and they're all disqualified because they, according to the SLF book, they cannot. The qualification is that they have to have a good report on the outside. But of course, what happens from these elders meetings is they drink and they drink and they drink. They don't get caught, and that's the blessing of Jehovah, because the scripture says the alcohol or the grapevine makes the heart of mortal man rejoice. See, so it's a scripture that's misapplied. But all you do is you have police just give them breathalyzer. They're all disqualified immediately. That's how you just.
a trip.
We got sick of it. I mean, I remember. Yeah, I'll speak about it. My dad and myself, we just used to watch the guys just drinking, and we'd go, man. I mean, the pressure, because technically speaking, none of these people qualify, but you raise it and you go through hell. You raise it, you're enemy number one. But the plain fact of the matter is they're all disqualified. That's the
Wow.
reality.
Okay.
That's kind of the same thing with Mormonism too. I do know Mormon bishops, they drink. Like, it's not like that didn't happen in any elders quorums meetings that I saw, but like we all just kind of quietly knew that the bishops, the ward clerks, and everyone, they're not qualified. They're plumbers, they're electricians, they're business owners, right? And they get all this stuff dumped on them by like 300 people every week, right? And like every time the meeting is over, they step out and there's like 30 people in the hallway like begging to talk to him and like confess something, right? It's like we all knew, yeah, this dude, he looks tired, he looks hungover, right? Like it's
That's a lot of pressure for people, that are in authority positions, spiritual authority positions.
The guys would hold their liquor, sure. So they'd go, but the plain fact of the matter is if they got in a vehicle, and a lot of the guys would go home 11, 12 o'clock at night after an elders meeting. The plain fact of the matter is that they would be over according to the legal limit. Even if they could hold their liquor, they'd be over. And
This
that
is
would be
amazing.
that.
This is amazing to me. Okay, my sister is still a Jehovah's Witness. My brother-in-law was an elder. I don't believe he is right now. But my sister has told me that after meetings, she would take the car and go home, and her husband, after the meeting, would have an elders meeting, and he would walk home. I'm now putting together, and this is just my thoughts, it makes me wonder, because if he was in an elders meeting, I'm sure he could have gotten a ride home from another elder. For him to walk home from an elders meeting makes me wonder if he didn't want to be around the elders and he didn't accept a ride from an elder that might have been drinking. See, this is the first time I'm hearing about elders meetings and elders drinking, and it makes sense that they would. They're handed a stack of whatever's supposed to be handled. Some of it's pretty heavy, some of it maybe not, but yeah.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder. Interesting.
No, none of our guys qualified because of that. Technically speaking, they were all disqualified. The other thing they used to do is they used to go to the beach, and to take alcohol on the beach is an offense legally, but they would
Yes.
all do it.
Yes. That's
And
true.
I remember outings, and we're going there, and just the guys have all got alcohol, and it's like, if you even raised it, if you even raised an eyebrow, you weren't loyal to your own.
Hmm.
It's such a weird thing, just so weird. But
Yeah.
that's the culture.
Yeah. And we're taught in the organization to drink in moderation. So it is not taught that, to abuse it at all, but it will happen. There's some personalities that do, and there's addiction personalities that have addictions. What's on your
You know what
mind,
it is?
Matthew?
It's like, if you the laws.
Hmm.
Basically, Jehovah's people are above the laws of the land because that's
This is
Satan's
true.
world. That's
This is
what it
true.
is.
Yeah.
No, that's Satan's world. No.
Wow. And see, it's interesting. Both of you have talked about these people in spiritual positions who are not qualified. Um, and I've said this for years that elders are not qualified for the positions that they hold. I think some might be more prone to be more consoling to the congregation and be more of a social person and handle
Mm.
people better than others. But the
Mhm.
fact is, when somebody goes to seminary, they learn theology and a whole bunch of different things. But what makes a good pastor is somebody who's taken sociology, which is the study of society, psychology, which is the study of human and animal behavior, which makes you understand different personality types and different cultures as well as your own. So it helps to serve a congregation of believers if you understand these things. It helps a pastor better
Yeah.
serve a congregation. So when I've heard all these different solutions, some of them just go against smart things that you would learn in these settings of sociology and psychology. So they're guided. So being that they're not educated in these areas, they can be handed a book that tells them how to handle things, and they don't know that they're doing socially and culturally unacceptable things. But they believe, they're following the guidelines of Jehovah.
Linda James. I mean, you really want to go into this kind of stuff. There's so much hypocrisy because humans are humans are humans. That's it. I mean, I can't remember which show I was on, but I remember saying just the stuff I knew people were doing. And it was like I got to a stage where I just don't want to know people's intimate
Right.
things anymore. I just don't want to do it,
Hmm.
because it's so. And I was asked to destroy congregation files. That was one of my roles, was to do that. And I just look back over like 30 years and go, there's nothing exceptional in these people's behavior. 90% just have got the most horrendous history. I mean, horrendous. There was one young man getting up now doing a teaching part, and I look at him and I go, I really caught in two things. One, I don't want to be ignorant, but then there's another part of me that says I just don't want to know the kind of details that I
Yeah.
actually do know about this individual who's up there now teaching the congregation. I just don't want to do it because I remember being on those elders' judicials, and I wouldn't ask those intimate questions. I would basically put the person through like the SLF book and allow them to judge themselves. I wouldn't do the judging. I'd go, tell me, what's the standard? There it is. Do you think you're being treated fairly? What would you do? Oh, I would follow this. Well, then apply it to yourself.
That's what
And
I
then
did
I
with
would,
my kids, actually. Something very
yeah.
similar.
Then I would, then at the end I would say, do you feel that you've been treated unfairly? No. And they couldn't, because it would be their own judgment upon themselves. Look, remember, I was a believer in the catharsis of the situation. I was the believer in the real spiritual progress. I mean, I saw persons with blood pressure, fibro. I saw all kinds of maladies, even cured. And I went, oh, I do see the psycho-spiritual connection to a lot of these things. Sure, you've got to understand the limits of what can be done. But I saw persons with who are coming in genuinely with confession, with catharsis, where you would have very, very serious conditions. And in my humble opinion, I believe they would walk out cured.
I can see that.
Used to see that for heart trouble, or even something like diabetes or stomach disorders. You go phenomenal. Now I go take that with skepticism and take that with a, believe it or not kind of thing. But I remember going to a hospital in Zimbabwe, Bulawayo, and they used to do a psycho-spiritual analysis. They actually had a section, psycho-spiritual outlook, on the patient's medical file. So I know that was something that they took into consideration in that country. I do know that.
Within the hospitals files?
The hospitals, yes, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, the actual hospitals for the country.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a section there, psycho-spiritual outlook and psycho-spiritual assessment. There was a section for that.
Okay. That's fascinating.
Somebody who didn't have a good psycho-spiritual outlook, I mean, the anesthesiologist, they would get a nurse who had ultra compassion just to hold the person's hand, to ground them in this life, because if they didn't, they would fade away, they would die.
Oh wow. Yeah, this makes sense. Wow. Is there any more comments that could be read, Matthew?
Oh, I was going to say, well, that was where L. Ron Hubbard was, but anyway, moving on.
Go ahead.
No, we played this already. We already did this today.
L. Ron Hubbard thing?
There's a conversation about twat waffles in the chat. Lisa twat has waffles? Yeah, it's further up.
No, there. Okay.
That's going on. Lisa has a question. I'm waiting for her to type it.
Thank you, Dave. Dave is like, yeah, I think I'm going to step in here because I could tell Matthew could use a. Yeah. What do they call that? Use a. Basically, doing him a favor.
Thank
you.
A helping
Thank you,
hand.
Dave.
A helping hand.
Do me a favor, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Dave, are your eyes good?
I'm following the chat.
Okay, let me get my magnifying glass out because I can't see what's going on here. Okay. The Dagda. Are you going to do this, Dave? The Dagda. I'm so mad at myself that I was. What? An assembly circuit, assembly rotation, chirping out the same spiel. I want to go back and. Do you see this? Slap that moron. Oh, Lisa is free. Look at me. I'm so pious. Bluff. Yeah, karma kicked my ass.
Okay. Lisa's question: being XJW ex Mormon, what do you think happens, or do you hope happens when we die? Do you think we sleep until paradise, or is there something else? So I've talked about this before, right? I'm a very much a big believer in reincarnation. There's very much documented evidence, even of stories where there's one that happened in America, there's another that happened in England, but basically like a 5 or 6 year old boy is like, reading a book on like airplanes with his dad, right? He sees a Spitfire and says, "Dad, I was shot down and I was shot down, yada yada yada. I was shot here, here, here. My plane went down there." Well, father starts asking around. Police go out there in England, in the north of England or Scotland. They found a Spitfire matching the description of what that little boy said, and the bullet wounds were where he said, and the plane was in the bog that he said, and there was debris of another airplane that child said he shot down, right? So
Wow,
there's been
okay.
multiple documented cases of this happening. I believe that the soul exists and it is eternal. It's energy, right? And energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It just is, right? Everything goes in cycles, from the seasons to the universe. You have stars that go nova. They become a black hole. The black hole sucks up the stuff. New planets and solar systems are formed. The process repeats, right? So that is my belief.
Yeah, I was listening to Tom Campbell talking like that about entropy, and who else? Jeffrey Mishlove, Roots of Consciousness, and he was the winner of the Robert Bigelow Award for Consciousness Studies, and of course, there's a big piece there on reincarnation. And so he won $500,000 for that essay from Robert Bigelow for his research into reincarnation and these cycles that Dave is talking about. It's absolutely incredible stuff. And Bigelow was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and there's a skeptic. Bigelow, but of course the way he did it was he got peers to review that, and big process to do these essays. But what a generous guy. And of course Jeffrey Mishlove won that. And I mean, Jeffrey also wrote the Roots of Consciousness in the 70s. Great book.
Universe itself, like the Big Bang Theory, right? Because a lot of people in traditional like Abrahamic faith will be like, well, what created the Big Bang? It's like, well, that was the entropy of the first universe, or that universe collapsing on itself and exploding, right? And the same thing is going to happen to this universe in however many billions of years. It's going to expand, and eventually it's going to start sinking in on each other, and then boom.
Yeah. No, these are nice thoughts, Dave.
I think we've historically through I don't know what the word is, science, have gotten to simply 1 second before the Big Bang that we can confirm. Everything but a few seconds or 1 second before the Big Bang, as far as the timeline. Have you heard this? Am I saying I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I was thinking of a painting, Linda James, that I've got in the other room of the African Venus and how she reincarnates.
Oh wow!
I can fetch it. It's just in the other room. Can I do that?
Yes, please. I would love that. I would love that a lot. Wow.
So
we're going to see a painting of his. Okay,
nice.
Go ahead, Dave.
So Lisa's question, like pantheism, right? basically what pantheism is what people call God, right? Because, in Abrahamic faiths, God is a man in the sky. God is daddy, right? But in
Mhm.
pantheism, God is all that is. I'm God, you're God, the
Ah,
ground is God. God is within all things. God maintains all
yes,
things because God is in everything and
all
in all
things.
things. The word pan across theism. So the theism, the belief in God, is in all things that exist.
Okay.
That's a simple version.
Thank you for breaking it down like that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
What did I miss?
Okay, Matthew. He was giving the explanation of pantheon,
Oh,
Pantheism. Yep.
pantheism. Thank you.
can you see that?
Okay, you showed her to us last week, I think.
Hmm.
That's Venus, and she's
Yeah.
reincarnated.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
because you can go to Charles Henry Cordier's work, and you can see the African Venus in bronze and gold. He's a ethnographer, and so I mean, you go back in time, and you can see the genetic replication that's even there. So anyway,
Did you paint this one here of the?
yes, yes.
That's a nice
Wow.
painting.
Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you.
Wow,
Yeah.
the likeness is. I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about your paintings, how you really capture the likeness of who you paint.
Yeah, so she exists. She's alive today. I remember showing her, and I showed her Charles Henry Cordier's sculpture, and she knew I had this image here. Anyway, she says to me, "Oh, the sculpture." She says, "You almost got it right." She says,
Which is probably an amazing compliment, right?
she says, "Yeah." She says, "I can see you need a little bit of practice, just something like that." And I said,
That's
"Well,"
too funny. I love
and
it.
I said, "Well, it's not my sculpture; it's Charles Henry Cordier's." And I said, "Oh, I know what it was. She was speaking disparagingly about herself." And I said, "No," I said, "You are African Venus." And she says, "Nah, rubbish." And so I said, "No, here you go. I'll show you this." I sent her the sculpture, and she says, "Ah, you almost got it right." And I said, what are you talking about?" So I said, "It's Charles." She says, "Yeah, lousy thing." So I said, "No, it's the African Venus." I said, "Charles Henry Cordier's work," and she looked it up, and of course she couldn't argue with that.
That's funny.
Hello.
Welcome,
Bar weep,
Grey Wolf.
grana weep, Niddybarn.
Yes.
You haven't joined us in a while. It's good to see you.
Yeah, I almost didn't. I was kind of fading out, but you guys got me. He woken back up with the reincarnation stuff.
So, have you met Dave yet?
I've seen him on here before.
Okay, Dave, this is.
So,
I call him Grey Wolf. And Grey Wolf,
Mhm.
this is Dave. And I know you've met Matthew, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
What do you have to offer? That you wanted to
Oh,
share?
I'm gonna have to just debunk the crap out of this one.
Good times. Good times.
Okay, so the kid was flying a Spitfire and all that. This was James. I'm not sure how to pronounce this kid's name. Lenningers. Well, first of all, his parents claim he never was exposed to any such imagery or videos, even though he visited museums with such material beforehand.
He never was.
No, he was. They claimed that
Okay.
he wasn't. No, the parents did claim that he wasn't, even though they did
Okay.
find, and he had seen videos of stuff of aviation and went to an aviation museum.
Okay.
Let's see here. Saying Joel read her could not have influenced the behavior claims. Paper disclosed the source of their content. The content of the video was aviation museums and so forth. Also, following up with the advice is of past life is therapist Carol Bowman, and she instructed them to tell their son that what he was experiencing in his nightmares were events that had happened and to him before. So he was being led on to actually think that this was really the case.
Okay, I just want to timestamp this. We're at 1 hour and 50 minutes right now. So if you want to come back to recap on what Grey Wolf is talking about so you can look it up, that's the timestamp. You can go a few steps, a few minutes earlier. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Grey Wolf.
Anyway, so basically, he was exposed to material that could have gotten his imagination going. Of, oh yeah, I was in a Spitfire, and then he was also led on to believe that those events really happened.
Is a Spitfire an airplane?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I hadn't asked that earlier. Okay.
So there are at least two things there that would suggest manipulation, and we do know that false memories can happen too. So.
Sure. Now, I brought those up as examples.
I know
you're
off
using. The top of my head. Now, if you want to go into a deep dive, here in Mongolia, there's a tradition of stamping the body of the deceased, and they come back with birthmarks in the same spot that it is done. That's also a Mongolian tradition. There's Indian traditions. And while, sure, you can find cases like this, but the point is globally, culturally, and I'm sure Matthew can bring up examples of this too, right? There's more basis for it than not, right? So sure, you could poke holes in that one and maybe one and two others.
I'm sure I could probably poke holes in quite a lot if I looked.
The most compelling essays is the Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Studies. That's it's worth the $500,000 that it won.
So,
and of course, I say go in with healthy skepticism. Sure, I'm not telling you go and believe it or not. I'm just going. Today, after 140 years of accumulating these reports, like what Dave's talking about, we've got these, and Bigelow's not a pushover, hey? He's hectic, and in my opinion, I go that was worth the $500,000. In fact, Bigelow paid out about $1 million for the other runner-up essays that were done. But I mean, they've made them available for free. You can get the books. Of course, you'd pay for the books, but I mean, the essays are available. So that's BICS. And Bigelow essentially makes outer space habitats. That was what he did. Okay. And anyway.
Let's see here. Mongolian spot is congenital developmental condition caused by melanin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Containing cells that are usually located in the surface of the skin.
Yeah, you're looking up something completely different.
No.
Are you talking about the stamping of the dead?
This is what
Dave was just talking about.
It's a stamping, or it can be a carving. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on the tribe and tradition.
That's the cultural. That's the cultural look of it into it.
Might it ever be a tattoo?
I'd have to ask. I'm not
Okay.
sure on the tattoo, but I do know it's like an actual stamp, a brand, or like a cut. Like
Okay, it's fascinating. That's fascinating.
Jacques Vallée. I mean, he went into extensive research. Jacques Vallée, he's the guy that Close Encounters of the Third Kind is based on. Yeah, that Spielberg movie about UFOs, right? So Jacques Vallée, that's the scientist that that movie is based on. He exists. He's real. So he went through. Oh, okay. So Pat Price and the UFO Center in Mount Inyangani in Zimbabwe there's your connection. Who else said that? Lynn Buchanan, Stargate, was going into this. So they went into extensive examinations of a lot of these reports and reincarnation and genetic recurrence. They went into a whole lot of these things, and people are surprised that in the past 140 years, the documentation and the scientific approach to gathering this information is incredible. It's not like in the past 140 years that we just don't have this data. We've got it. I would say sort of about the same sort of time as William James.
Mm-hmm. Aliens talk about aliens. Lisa says,
well, this is the language. I mean, what somebody says alien in one place or with one language, somebody says is angels or something in another place. But I mean, look, if you've got a parapsychologist that's charged with having to investigate these kind of things, they don't go in, do we believe this or not? They go in, what's happening, why, what's the pattern, what's the problem, what's the pathology. So they're charged with gathering the information, not necessarily making a judgment call.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to share, as I appreciate your Grey Wolf, what you brought up, because it's a bit of a pushback of what Dave has brought up. And on this channel, I don't tell people what to believe or why. And those with other beliefs than what I have are welcome. So
That's good.
Dave is sharing his, whether it's true or not, I have no clue. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very into, that's his belief, and right on, that's his belief. And I honor that, even if I don't agree with it, But I also appreciate the pushback you're giving, because that also gives, just because somebody's saying something on here doesn't mean it's necessarily true. And it might actually encourage people to look up the subject.
Yeah.
That's
I totally agree. Go look it up for yourself. Don't just take my word for it.
We didn't
take
do
his word for it.
We didn't do our disclaimer, but you see, we've known Mage Grey Wolf for how long, and we know that Mage brings in the antithesis for things, and that's why we would normally say when we start we normally used to say at the beginning of the program, we would say, please, we encourage a healthy skepticism. So this is a working thesis. Please bring your antithesis with healthy skepticism so that we can produce a good synthesis. And Mage, in all sorts of subjects, has always provided the good antithesis for a wide range of things. And it helps that we've sort of known him for a long time, that's his methodology. So we've always welcomed that. It's just that we didn't mention it at the beginning of the show like we used to.
Yeah.
Well, here's a little tip. When you're searching up something, you can put in debunked or some other term like that along with what you're looking for. So
or
reviews,
review,
or study or something like that. I prefer looking up debunked, because you'll pull up the stuff that showing where this is going, so that way you can actually kind of see where how people are walking through and this is not working out the way you think it is.
I've done that before. The thing is especially in today's age, everything is debunked on YouTube because that's just a clickbait title.
Oh, so, no, not YouTube channels.
No, but I'm just saying in general, because even on websites, people will do that on websites. It's clickbait, So I've traveled to different countries. I lived in different countries. I live here in Mongolia, right? So while I do approach things with a healthy skepticism, I also actually like to go to the countries and verify it for myself. because I've seen this firsthand. Perfect example with, India. People will say things about India and they're sitting comfortably in their homes in America. Never been there. Completely wrong information. And they parrot each other, even though they've never been there, let alone have family there like I do. So that's just my approach. I like to hands-on verify things.
That's good.
How many mushrooms have they harvested? Do they like biscuits and gravy? And chat's certainly interesting today.
It's lovely.
It's always good.
Got aliens in there. Jeez. Aliens, angels.
Mm-hmm. Never a dull moment on this. I was going to say Discord for some reason. I am tired. I need to take a nap. YouTube channel, YouTube Live.
Why are you tired, Dave, if I may ask? You don't have to
I haven't
answer.
slept yet.
So-
It's 2:02 in the afternoon, and I haven't slept yet. I got a meeting with a client at 5, so I can get in about a 2.5 hour, 2-hour nap before. I'm trying to readjust my sleep schedule. So that way I go to bed at 7-ish and wake up at 3 a.m. my time. What time is it there for you, Linda? Is it past midnight?
I believe so. Or else we're coming up to it. It's 11:02 p.m., so it's not quite midnight yet.
Yeah, I'm at 2 a.m.
2
Okay.
a.m. Oh, you're East Coast, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about why Jesus and Michael the Archangel are combined in the JW world. That I do not know anything about.
Something I've been wanting to go over is from one of the JW who sites. He's talking about evolution. Boy, do I just want to go line by line of how they got that wrong.
As far as the Jehovah's Witnesses,
As far as what they have on their site.
yeah. John, thank you for welcoming the newcomers. That is very awesome. It seems like there was a comment earlier that was saying, let's talk about something else. But I think it was from the same person who said, and that's what I'm trying to double check on. I think it's from the same person who said, what are your opinions on what the afterlife offers? And trying to make sure if that's the same person. Anyways, yeah, so we're sharing different beliefs on what is their belief in the afterlife, or if there isn't one, I think that was a subject brought up. So now it's a different subject.
Beliefs in the afterlife. Well, I don't believe there is an afterlife, but when I did, the last view I had of it, it was something along the lines of what we see in that movie, What Dreams May Come.
That I don't recall seeing, so I don't.
You never seen that one?
I've never heard of the movie.
Robin Williams. What
I
Dreams
do
May
like
Come.
Robin.
I definitely recommend go seeing it. It's a great movie.
What Dreams May Come. Okay. Now it is 2:05:02 on the timestamp. There's a movie recommended.
Movie recommendation.
Yes.
It's not his usual comedy. It's much. It's a lot more. It's not really a comedy though.
It's not a comedy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not a comedy.
Okay. So Lisa, you're getting tired, aren't you? Sorry about that. Um, here it is. Hey guys, let's talk about topics about being XJW aliens or whatever. LOL. Okay. Yeah. So after we finish this up, we can go to a different subject. My opinion is I don't know. I simply don't know what the afterlife holds. That's it. And at the same time, I think to myself that we would still exist. So I know of someone who's had a near-death experience and talked about her experience, and I have no reason to not believe her. Yeah.
Yes. Your brain goes haywire. Your body, you flood your body gets flooded with DMT, which is known to cause hallucinations and the God experience.
Mm-hmm. There is
Oh,
that. Yes.
There's also
dimethyltryptamine, the God molecule, hey?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's also the near-death experiences where the people have been brain dead. Those are interesting.
Amber's in the house too. Hi, Amber.
I'm not sure if I believe that.
Well, doctors have written
By the-
reports and things on it, so I'm going to go with the doctors on that one.
I was talking earlier about an interview that the OC. Oh goodness, I can't think of his name. The OC Circuit Overseer, something like that. OC Visit. His name is Colin. He has a channel.
How did these doctors determine their brains were dead?
I'd have to actually go in the deep dive on it. There's let me Google it now. But yeah, I remember reading some books on it, even going back to like high school, and I thought it was
because I know we actually found that the brain, even after we considered them the brain dead, the brain actually stays active for hours later.
Interesting. So Amber asked if all of the panelists are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. So Diamond Dave, which is the bottom right from where I'm seeing it.
I'm on the bottom right.
Yes. What would you call your belief system?
Well, I mean, I'm Hindu,
Buddhist,
but
Hindu.
yeah, but I'm not ex-JW. I'm technically ex-Mormon.
Correct. Yes. So, and what would you call yourself, Grey Wolf?
Me?
Yeah.
So as far as religion go, I'm an atheist.
Okay. So I'm answering Amber because she asked if all of us on the panel was ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
No,
and,
I'm not an ex-Jehovah's Witness.
Matthew and I are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and then what I wanted you guys to say what you were, rather than myself.
I have an interesting relationship with religion. I have both my parents came from Catholic upbringings, even though my dad was sort of this weird Buddhist deist kind of view. And then my grandfather switched to Judaism for a while, and then went back to Catholicism. And my mom liked to kind of like look into other forms of Christianity, so we went to the Urantias and other different denominations. And so I got a pretty good flavor of different religious views.
Wow. By the way, when there is unrest, cults just start to develop. Okay, like they come out of the woodwork, and at this time that we're in right now, cults are coming out of the woodwork, and they're mainly showing up as online cults. So please be aware that cults often have a front thing that they will offer, and it sounds and looks like something legit and something you might be interested in, or it might go with your own values, your own morals, something that is aligned with the cause that you believe in. So know that when you're looking into things online, that they could be a front. And if you're suggested, see when Dave said that there's 3 or 4 spots left, And I said, that's urgency. And
Mm.
he kept saying, but it's true. The reason why I believe he was saying, but it's true, is because this is a cult thing too. Someone will say, if you don't get it now, you're going to lose this opportunity. It's
Yeah.
very like there's a 3-day sale and you're never going to get this opportunity again. But the fact is, tomorrow is his class and it is urgency. But in cults and recruiting, know that happens. If you can't say, I need to sleep on this, or I need to talk to my friends about this, and be able to walk away without signing up to the next thing they want to turn you on to, they might be pressuring you because of that could be part of cult recruiting. Many of us have losses right now, especially after the time of C-19. And when we lose a loved one, and this could be through death, it could be through relationships. We lose our jobs, which are very dramatic. These are times that come up. When these times of uncertainty show up, cults really come up. And in the United States, they're protected, okay? So be very, very aware that is the case today. And just know that, yes, you might be getting turned on to something really wonderful. It might be all good, but you don't have to sign up for it if you get the impression they're giving you the urgency sales pitch kind of thing. Okay? That's kind of what I wanted to put out there.
Leader.
I thought you were going to say Batman.
That's from the Simpsons.
Oh, okay.
They had this whole thing with the cult going on. They had the chant going, the leader is good, the leader is great, submit to his will, as does but it wasn't working on Homer, so they switched to leader.
There's a meme with have you seen the cartoon King of the Hill? So
I've seen some of the episodes. Yeah, I know King of the Hill.
Many years ago.
Yeah,
They're doing new episodes.
Are they? Okay.
Yes.
So King of the Hill, the dad and the neighbor, who, they end up at the wall on all of the cartoons, drinking beer and just going, yep. So they're friends, okay? So two of these friends of maybe 4 to 5 people went to go find somebody that's joined a cult. So they show up to this one area where there's these people and they say, is this the cult area? Or is this the cult? And somebody from the cult answers, we're not a cult. We are a whatever. And
of course.
Hank Hill goes, okay, we're here. This is the spot.
Yep.
Because they gave this big old explanation of how they're not a cult. And it's really, I wish this was not the case, but it is in fact the case. When one is in a cult, they don't know that they're in a cult. You just don't know.
I should make a cult and be honest about it. Just be like, yeah, this is a cult.
Oh, that's one of the techniques. And they have a very big pride within it. Yeah. What were you going to say, Matthew?
I'm going to excuse myself.
Sure.
Linda James, thank you very much. Been good being with you. Mage Grey Wolf, nice to catch up a little bit with you. It's been a while. And Diamond Dave, thank you very much for your presence as well. Good also. And to everybody in the chat, go well.
Go well. Thanks for joining me tonight. I appreciate it. Bye, Matthew.
Be well.
Yeah, be well. Yeah, he had a long day on his live stream, which usually is maybe 3 to 4 hours. And it turned out to be about 8 hours or just over. So I got to be on there, and I was on there with him for the last couple of hours. And so we had just 1 hour in between before this started. So I was a bit tired when we started. So I'm sure he is definitely tired. And
I'm surprised he was even functioning.
right? I'm glad he said he's going to excuse himself. I'm really glad, because I tell you something. those of us that have been in cults, we've been trained to push down what our bodies are feeling. And we would ignore being exhausted and we would push ourselves. That's just how we've been trained. So it seems like a simple thing. He's like, I'm going to excuse myself. But to me, the fact that we've both been in cults and he now is just, he's at his point of he's done, said, I'm going to excuse myself. I'm just like, that's a cool thing. That's a very cool thing. It's a very,
Yeah, it is. Not,
and it's,
under those circumstances, yes, that's great.
yes. So we were not taught to make decisions that were taking care of ourselves first. We were taught to always put the organization first, which equaled God, right? So we would push ourselves to please God. And he doesn't have to please God through this show tonight. He can just be like, okay, my bandwidth has ran out. I'm out of here. And
Yeah,
it's all good.
I'm hitting that point. I need
Out
a
of-
nap soon.
Out of spoons.
Not even a problem. Right. But have you heard Fork is in the kitchen?
Nope,
hear
I'm
it.
sure of that one.
I've heard that this is like a thing to say. Oh, everybody's saying bye to Matt. That's so cool. Has anybody heard this term fork in the kitchen?
Nope.
So it's supposed to mean, well, that's obvious. That's where a fork would be, or a spoon would be. What did I say? Fork in the kitchen. Okay. That's another way of saying, well, that's obvious. Yeah. So if we are hearing about, so this is also why, okay, I've mentioned about cults and everything. I've also talked against Christian nationalism. And what's involved with Christian nationalism that I believe is worth paying attention to is Christian nationalism is more than simply the label Christian nationalism. It involves Opus Dei. It involves Seven Mountain Mandate, apostolics, religion. It involves very, very patriarchy forms of Christianity. And this is not something new that's just came up. It has started a good 80 to 90 years ago, starting with the founder of Opus Dei. To this day, Opus Dei is very, it used to be very hard to find information on Opus Dei, but it's a offshoot of Catholicism, yet it's still under Catholicism. And the men that get recruited are trained up to be in good prominent positions for them to lead different congregations and such. Women that are recruited are usually underage and of low income areas, and the parents will be told that they're going to get to go to college and be taken care of that way. So the parents will let someone that has the label or that says they're from the Catholic Church, which this is an offshoot of the Catholic Church, so they can say that. And when they let their young underage daughters go with them, these parents believe that they're letting them go into an area where it's going to be much better for them than the life that they're living now. And to this day, when the women are taken to where they're taken, they are put in a position of being servants to the men within this Opus Dei, of the men being brought up to be spiritual leaders, and they are made to be simply servants. So they never get to be sent to college like they were promised, like they promised the parents to do this. And they remain within that subservient position of servanthood. So there's deception there. There's also stages of, you may have heard of some people that are religious speaking about flogging themselves.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, so there's a bit of that going on too. With Opus Dei, they have that kind of a choker that is put on a dog that has kind of that spikes, so that if you pull on it, it really goes into the neck. They have something similar to that they place on their legs, one leg,
Jeez.
one thigh rather, and that's a kind of a form of flogging themselves. And so that goes on as far as the spiritual traditions within Opus Dei. And then there's a Seven Mountain Mandate. And to be honest, I don't have it off the top of my head what the Seven Mountains represents. So I'm going to look it up right now because I want to share what it's about. Okay. I'll have that just a minute. Seven Mountain Mandate images.
Well, I certainly hope this Opus Dei thing has a safety word.
What did you say?
I
What?
certainly hope this Opus Dei thing has a safety word.
I don't know what a safety word is. What is a safety word? Oh, safety ward? Is that what you're
Word.
saying? Yeah, they don't.
It's a BDSM thing. Your
Yeah, I
safety
know.
word
I just
is.
caught on. I'm not going to share with you mine. So yeah, let's keep it there. Okay. So Seven Mountains. So now I'm going to open it up. The plan of the Seven Mountain Mandates is the belief system that Christianity should be infiltrated into these 7 categories, which they call 7 mountains. So this form of Christianity should be infiltrated into business, government, family, religion, media, education, and entertainment. It's the reclaiming. It's brought up as if it's reclaiming. So when you hear stories about bringing back America to its Christian roots, that's a form of infiltrating into government. Okay? Because the United States left where religion was the prominent thing, that if you didn't have the proper kind of dedication, the consequences were horrible for you. So when they came to America, they did not carry that mindset of starting off as a Christian nation. It was definitely more secular. Yes, God might have been brought up, but America does not have at the beginning Christian foundation. Were there Christians that came here and wanted to recruit people? Yes, there was. And First Nations and all kinds of atrocities happened through that. But when it comes to the Constitution and the things that were put into documents for the beginning of the United States of America, that was not the case. So when you hear the term separation of church and state, that's being said so that Christianity is not infiltrated into the United States as a state religion. Okay? Did you want to say something, Dave?
No, there's a
Okay.
car revving its engine right outside.
Oh,
the
I
window,
see.
so it's just
Okay.
moving.
So there's that. I recently heard in the White House of the United States, somebody standing, there was some people behind Trump, and somebody literally was saying that terminology, separation of state or religion and state, is false.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and that was hard to hear. So I'm just putting this out there because if this Seven Mountain Mandate infiltration is happening, that could be confirmation. And what I'd like the listeners to do is look it up and see if that's the case.
Okay, even if you are a Christian, you do not want Christian nationalism, because there's a good chance that the Christianity that gets forced down your throat by the state isn't going to be the one that you follow.
Very good point. Hungary, which just was under Christian nationalism. I don't think it was called that, but again, it was the one state religion. But they wanted no foreigners, no, just pretty much the way things are looking or heading towards in here in the US. So it's, and to end, so basically these different things, I'm going to say them again and then go from there. So with the Seven Mountain Mandate, they use the terminology of reclaiming as though it was these things to begin with. Okay? I dare say that was not the case, but definitely look it up to see if it was. Okay? And the plan is to infiltrate for Christians, to this form of Christianity, to infiltrate businesses, government, family, religion, media, education, and entertainment. All of those 7 things represent 7 mountains. Okay? The ultimate plan is to create God's kingdom in the United States. And if we can create God's kingdom here in the United States, this will bring Jesus, Jesus's return, which is something Christianity looks forward to, the return of Jesus. Ordinary mainstream Christianity sees that eventually Jesus will return and then turn the earth into what is whatever the godly thing is. Okay? Christian nationalism is wants to turn the United States into what they see as the godly kingdom, so that Jesus will return. I hope you're hearing the difference. Okay? I'm going to say it again. Mainstream Christianity, the ordinary Christian, has a belief that Jesus will return. He was here before, established Christianity, and that he will return because he said he would. Okay? And he also said he needed to go so he could send the Comforter, and that would be the Holy Spirit. So during this time, mainstream Christianity believes they are being led by God through the Holy Spirit, and that Jesus will return again. And when he returns again, he makes the earth what he wants it to be, or heaven, whatever heaven's going to look like. Okay? With Christian nationalism, they are creating the United States to be what would be approved and making it God's kingdom so that Jesus returns. I'm hoping I'm making sense. That's the goal of Christian nationalism. So yeah, start looking into these things. Opus Dei, Seven Mountain Mandate, and look into why they have these beliefs and whether they ring true to you or not. Okay? And that's what I wanted to share in that. And ultimately, and what's also behind this is the supremacy of the white man. Okay? Not the white woman, the white man. So when you really get into it, see if that shows up too. Because if that's the case, then it's going back to a time of when the United States started, the United States of America, when those that had rights were the white men who owned property. Okay? And then there were white men who were not owning property, and they were not someone that had the same rights as the ones that were more established and owned more property and stuff like this. So when it came time for the white men who were just trying to get by in life, and they probably didn't own property, and if they did, they were just basically lower income. Okay? So when the slaves were going to be released and be able to live within society at large and have certain rights, what was said from the upper area of those that were in higher positions is they told the white man that the black man is coming and going to take your job. Okay? So they had them hating on each other and in competition to begin with. That's
Yeah.
what it's going back to, is what I see today.
Seven Mountain
Mandate
Okay.
and
Originated
apostolic.
in 1975 by Lauren Cunningham, founder of Youth with a Mission, and Bill Bright, founder of Campus Crusade for Christ. Now, those are some names that don't sound cultish at all.
Campus Crusade for Christ is from Colorado. Please let me know if that says that there. Colorado Springs. See if it's Colorado Springs.
Not sure.
Okay.
Here.
It's a military area there. Around there too. So any religion can become bastardized, okay? And I'm putting out there that Christian nationalism, I see it as having become bastardized and used in a way that is not the ordinary mainstream Christianity, not the ordinary conservative person who just likes to go to church at their local church every Sunday, doesn't want the government in their back pocket. Ordinary Joe probably doesn't have the same beliefs I do. He's much more like, much more of a just a conservative mindset. Nothing wrong with someone like that, okay? I really want to make that stress. I really want to stress that and make a clear distinction from the ordinary conservative and ones that are extreme and fall under the MAGA category and Christian nationalist category. I also think that those that say they're Christian nationalists, some of them don't realize even half of what I just brought up. They equal being a Christian and being patriotic as if that makes them Christian nationalists. And they will just easily say, I'm a Christian nationalist because I'm a patriotic American and Christian. I dare say that's just naivety. So they probably don't have that whole belief system that I've mentioned that I really want you to look into. So yeah, check that out. Do you guys have anything you want to say about that? Either
Nope.
one of you? No? Okay.
I mean,
you heard-
it doesn't affect me at all. So no.
Okay. Okay. So I was a Christian for many, many years and then became a non-believer, which I had no clue. I didn't decide I'm going to head towards that. I came to a place, and I came to this place because I read my Bible. I came to this place because I was learning the history of Jesus Christ. I didn't come to this place like this is going to be an easier route. I did not see it coming. Matter of fact, I texted a few friends of mine. Okay, Dave took off. I texted a few friends of mine and asked them, do I have to believe in evolution if I'm a non-believer? I thought that goes hand in hand. This is how naive I was. And they're like, one was like, no. The other one's like, I don't think so. I'm like, good, because I don't know it. I thought I was going to have to learn evolution. So, there's that. So since I've become a non-believer of the God of the Bible, I have had more peace than I ever thought I'd ever have. And at the same time, I do respect those that do have a belief in the God of the Bible. I'm not here to say I think it's ridiculous and you shouldn't believe that way. I have a reverence for that belief, even though I'm no longer at that place. So yeah, I just wanted to share these things. It's interesting that Lisa is saying about a tolerant country. I need to look at my calendar. Because I have something that has to do with tolerance that I want to share. So calendar. Here it is. Okay. August. So on the 18th of this month of August, I get to be a guest on Carrie Kay's show, and I'm going to have more information about it later. Carrie Kay, the researcher. From what I understand, that it'll be on TikTok and YouTube. I don't know if she's going to stream that show and then take time to edit it and put it up another time, but I get to be interviewed by Carrie Kay, and the subject will be tolerance. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. August 18th, I'm going to be getting together with Carrie Kay, and we're setting that up for one of her future shows. And she's just now getting started in doing live shows, and I would really encourage you guys to check out her shows. She's already got blogs. She's already an amazing researcher. And again, she has her journey. So whether things she says rings true to you or not, please just check it out and go from there, you know? You are loved. People can be ignorant, but they also deserve love. Very cool statement. So that took me to that place. And women standing up at a time like this, when part of this Christian nationalist movement is very much encouraging women to be at home and not have jobs, okay? And what we're told by the men within Christian nationalism is that we're going to be happier. When somebody tells you or suggests to you a different route than you're on right now and informs you that you're going to be happier, please be leery of this. Be leery of this. They do not know if you're going to be happier. What they're telling you is if you're in your proper place, you're going to be more fulfilled, okay? I strongly believe that within the first 5 to 7 years, a child needs a guardian. It could be a parent, it could be a grandparent. They need an adult to bond with. It's very important for them to have a sense of self and to help them grow up with a sense of self. If they don't get those things, they never gain a sense of self, and it's very bad for their psyche. The theory is those that grow up to be very abusive narcissists, the theory is they did not get to bond with a caretaker during those times. Today,
There might be some truth to that.
Yeah, that's the theory. There might be. There was a time when a man could get a job, and the money he made from that job paid all of the bills of the home, including the mortgage. And the woman was the stay-at-home mother. She raised the kids and ran the household. That made enough money to do all of that, okay? And there were definitely roles that were considered a woman's role and roles that were considered a man's role. Okay, so there was that. Today, we're at a place where one income, whether it be the man or the woman, does not, for the most part, make it to where one of the parents can be home and raise the kids. Okay.
Nowadays, you can't even do that with 3 jobs.
Right? That's what's going on now. So, being that that's the reality, hearing the story of women should not have a job but stay at home and do this. If the man or the woman, maybe the dad will be a house dad, okay? Because there are those. House moms and house dads, okay?
Well, if I ever got
Husband
to
and housewife.
if I ever got to be a dad, I'd actually prefer to be a stay-at-home dad.
See, I love that. I love that. And I, in my previous marriage, we did go through seasons where I would be working, he was maybe not working, and he was the main caretaker, vice versa. You know, we went through these seasons, and we preferred it to be one of us rather than having to go outside to get a caretaker, even though that was something I did at times. But priority wise, we wanted it to be either he or myself. So, but today, it's actually being said to women to have children, even if you can't afford them. Okay, which which sounds very much like what I've been hearing lately within the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, to follow directions even when they don't make sense. And what Trump has said was, you know, don't believe your lying eyes. So to not trust your own decision making skills. Bottom line, this is called gaslighting. You're being directed to do something that is not in your best interest. Okay? If you think it through and you realize that it's not in your best interest, do not let guilt nor shame rule you into making decisions that don't seem logical to you. Within this realm, we are also watching women, beautiful women, talking about how this should be a priority. But I want you to pay attention to who these women are that are in positions of owning their own businesses, okay? Or running their own businesses. They have jobs, they have careers, yet they're telling you to quit yours or to not have one. Think about that. Think about the women, because that's what men want. They want the women to tell these women to quit your job and to stay at home. Again, if that's possible and that's something that you and your husband or your partner wants to do, that's great. But don't let these people that are influencers guilt trip you into doing these things. Okay? That's part of the Christian nationalist movement right now. Okay, let me look at the chat here. I'm going to go up here. Okay, let's see. J Mars. Thank you, David, for your help and insight. Dagda, you are loved. People can be ignorant, but they also deserve love. Not sure who that was to, but I like that comment. That's amazing. Definitely will check it out. Good. No one can tell you how to be happy, right? It comes from within you. Isn't it interesting that within the Jehovah's Witness religion, they tell us we're the happiest people. Jehovah's Witnesses are the happiest people. And most Jehovah's Witnesses are dealing with not being happy. Okay? But we're being told that we're the happiest people. Yeah. Okay. It's because most... I went wrong. I went too low. How to be happy. It comes from within. Our kids are grown, and I'm a new empty nester. I was never raised a J. I never raised them JW. That's pretty dang cool. I'm proud of you. I mean, I'm glad that did not happen. I did as well. I did not raise my kids as Jehovah's Witnesses, but I could have. Like, if I could have done that, I could have still been thinking that was the route to go in my adulthood, and I could have done that. It happens easily. Okay. New empty nester. Okay, but yes, you need to support children, and it's because most JW guys and girls don't get the XP to build a visible life. Because Armageddon is coming. Yep. These were things from Lisa. And J. Mars says women should have a job and be independent, still be married. And it's an economy. It's the economy right now. Exactly. And that's actually what I'm talking about. Right now, that's what we would need. CJ replied to my story. That's a friend of mine. I just got a what is that called when it says somebody made a comment on Facebook? Notification. Okay. Thank you for that, J. Mars. And then Dagda says, old days, dad wasn't even a factor because he wasn't there. If he's going to be a partner, needs to step up and be emotionally available. That's interesting. So the dads weren't there. So your idea of the olden days, the dads weren't there. I know there was times when they would go off to war. He's calling me. You know what? I'm going to just take a break. And can you say a few things, Wolf, while I take a...
What would you like me to say here?
I'm going to push mute and call because he doesn't call me very often. And I just want to make sure things are okay with him. If that's all right.
All right. Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want to say to the audience. Thank you.
So we got in the chat going on here. That makes you pretty strong for going against your family. If it makes you happier. Yeah. All right. So, any questions you want to throw out? Oh, well, I'm taking over Linda's channel for the moment. Let me know. Well, Wolf, love you. Well, thank you. Well, since he was, Dave isn't here, I'm feel this is really good, but I need to at least say something here, keep things going. So I was just kind of looking up the whole doctor declares somebody brain dead and they came back to life thing. In most cases, this is usually a misdiagnosis. So we're confused with a different neurological state, such as a severe coma or vegetative state. There also have been cases with errors with testing of high profile cases, is where the person gets labeled as being brain dead, but procedural errors resulted in not so much. There's been actually a few people where I remember I don't remember the exact case, but I remember one person reporting where they even went to the morgue. And they woke up in the morgue.
I've heard stories like this, yes. Thank you so much. So I just called a friend of mine back who I rarely hear from, and when we do talk to each other, we always just carry on where we left off. It could be 9 months, it could be a couple of years.
Yeah, I know friends like that.
Right. So I'm like calling him, I'm like, hey, what's up? He goes, I didn't know it was your birthday. I'm like, it's not. It's not, but he thought it was. So, that's why he called. And I go, dude, I'm in the middle of my show, so let me call you back later. And he's all good with that. So he also didn't know I was doing a show, which is all good. So thank you for helping me call a friend back. I just want to make sure it wasn't an emergency. His sister was diagnosed with cancer. So I was wondering if I was getting that call,
It's one of those just waiting for the end kind of cancers, or is it fighting tooth and nail, hoping for the best kind of cancers?
I'm not real clear where she's at in this, but she's been ill for a while, so I don't know where she's at in that right now. So I haven't heard how she's doing lately. So I was wondering about that. So thank you, everybody, for letting me take that break and calling.
Well, I hope the best for her then.
Thank you. She's an awesome woman. Dagda says, what do you think social media is going to look like when all the dead are raised? With a cute little happy face. That's too funny. So you guys got talking about bodies in the fridge, huh? And those that have woken up after dead?
Or thought to be dead, at least.
Okay. Lisa said, I'm proud of myself for breaking the cycle. Yes. We were just mentioning that before I got this call about you didn't raise your kids in the org. And above that, you said, I'm glad I'm a professional woman. One thing I'm thankful for was not following the org and making my own path. So can I ask you, you call yourself a professional woman. May I ask you what profession you're in, Lisa?
Ooh, boy.
And Doctor, I think I'm saying your name wrong. When you said the old days, dads weren't even a factor because he wasn't there. If he's going to be a partner, he needs to step up and be emotionally available. I'm wanting to know when that time frame was, because I know of times, like for instance, men have had to go to war, and women would step in. Actually, took a lot of jobs that the men had to abandon to go to war. Right? I know there's that time frame. But are you talking about something different when the men weren't around, and why were they not around? That's my question. Because I can't think of when that. I'm actually asking you to enlighten me. I'm not questioning you like I don't believe you. I'm asking you to enlighten me. Thank you.
Whoa, this is an interesting one. October 2021, and at the Baptist Health of Richmond in Kentucky, the 36-year-old Anthony Thomas TJ Hoover II woke up on the operating table just before they cut him open to remove his organs.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That is a trip. That's at the morgue. Okay.
Now, as for organ donation, I guess.
Possibly, yeah. Okay, you're a paralegal. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, organ donation.
Okay. Water cable, welcome. John says, did anybody listen to Six Screens JW World News with Sharon's story? I didn't get to hear it, but I've heard her story before. And it's a heavy story. A very, very heavy story. And from what I recall, she did not get the support she needed. And XJW Curious is in the house. Good to see you, my pasta hubby. I'm sorry, I didn't notice you before. Okay, the answer is it was in reference to you speaking on raising children. I'm kind of miffed it turned into a Jerry Springer episode, though. When I was talking about raising children, I was talking about raising children in the manner of a couple raising children. So both were in the home. And I was talking about how a husband could have a job and make enough money for the wife to be at home. And then speaking about, like today, it could be even reversed if that was the case. I don't recall on tonight's show me speaking about men not being around. Am I misunderstanding you? I could say it's more general, and I think it might be in my specific story. Okay, I had not father. You didn't have a father figure, and neither did my cousins. Okay, and is it rude if I ask you how old you are?
Well, the character in my story ended up with 3 dads.
The character in your story, what you've written?
Yeah, and the one I'm writing, I ended up with three dads. That was not really intended originally, but it just kind of worked out that way.
It does happen, kind of rarely a case as it does happen.
Well, you kind of tell you. Well, his biological father was killed, so he
Okay.
was sort of essentially adopted by the friend who I ended up making him gay and having a husband basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So he ends up with two other fathers and he's adopted. So he ends up with three dads.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Nothing you were talking about, Linda. Okay. Oh, the Jerry Springer came from the two arguing about their drama. Did you all know, since XJW Curious is in the house, this homeboy was, in fact, on the Jerry Springer show? This is a little known fact. He was on the Jerry Springer show. Yes. Okay, you're 46. Okay. I swear, I didn't imagine it. You did talk about raising kids. Yes, I was. I can't remember the details. Okay, that's cool. I thought you were saying I thought you were saying what you were saying based on what I said. And I was thinking, I don't. So I think I'm confused and misunderstood, and we're all good. Thank you for giving me that info.
Hey, we're the same age, 46.
Right on. J. Mars says, Lisa Sharon has a lot of claims. She needs 6 hours to explain them, but I'll listen. This is the thing. Going back to 6 screens and Sharon telling her story, yes, it can be a long story. Yes. And unfortunately, some of it, where an ordinary church would step in and be supportive to her, within this organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, that did not show up. I'll put it to you that way. So yeah, I was talking about nationalism, and I'm gonna round things up to say goodnight. Is there anything else you want to bring up tonight, Grey Wolves?
Nope. I figured I'd just hang out here until the end, so to keep you company.
You know what? Thank you for showing up, and thank you for doing a bit of that pushing back. And then when I shared with you that people that show up here get to believe what they want to believe, you just rolled with it, and you were just very supportive at the same time. Thank you.
Look, I'll push back hard, but I'm still gonna be respectful.
I get that about you, and you always have been that way every time you've shown up here. And I really appreciate that about you, because you've never been like aggressive or bully-like character at all. You've always just been like, I have some things to share, and they contribute, they really do contribute. So thank you. So no, you don't have anything to share. You were just hanging out. Okay, y'all. I'm going to begin with saying my goodbyes, but let me ask the chat, is there something that you guys want to bring up before we end the show? Anybody can put anything in their comments.
No one needs to be a
Please.
dick. Oh, I'm a total dick.
Oh, you are? Okie dokie. That's what he said. I did not say that. Okay. Water cables. I've not seen you here before, and if I have and I forgot, please forgive me. I always wondered why this show ran to 3 a.m. and didn't see the PSD before. Yeah, I'm in Southern California, so I go from 9 to midnight, my time, and if the conversation is like really still intensely happening, I always let it go over maybe an hour or so if I'm feeling up to it. But if I'm feeling like I'm just not, I'll just tell everybody I got to close down the show. Yeah. But I'd love for you to show up here again. So with this channel, I'm a previous Jehovah's Witness, and people that show up here might be people that have been involved in cults or abusive relationships or things like that. So um, are you involved with anything like that? I was asking this to Water Cables. And XJW Curious said, "Good night, wifey." And he says, "Covering the blood doctrine in next new video Wednesday." By the way, XJW Curious, Pete, I haven't called you back because I've been a flake. The last 2 weeks, I've been in a place where I'm just out of it. So it's not a rejection of you, it's me. Okay? Please, please, please forgive me. I know I've told you that I do this and I go through these things before, but I just want to say it again. Thank you, Lisa. Like a good game master. Alrighty then. So, reason XJW Curious is calling me wifey is because he used to join me on the first of every month on this show. And so, you know how some people have a job and they have like a work husband or a work wife? That's what I saw him as. So I called him my apasta husband. So, and he calls me his wifey. And I just dig him. It's cool people. So I wanted to say, has anybody came up with anything they wanted to still talk about? Always here to listen. Thank you, sweetheart. That's what XJW Curious just said. Yes, okay. Cable Water, yes, I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness and I've been disassociated for over 3 years now. Life was impossible in that JW. Yeah. You know what? Good for you. I hope. I know it can be tough when you first leave, and it looks like you're living in much more freedom today. Matter of fact, I'm going back to XJW Curious. I don't even remember what I asked him, but this was about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. I straight up asked him something that didn't make sense to me, and he just easily explained it to me. So when he says he's always there to listen, this is true. Okay, Dallas. Linda, I like going here, listening to and watching the show. I'm glad, Dallas. I'm glad you're here. The organization Blood Doctrine with hospital attendants is a big lawsuit in the making. Let me just put out something right here and now. I don't care. And let me just say to you, Grey Wolf, Jehovah's Witnesses do not receive blood transfusions. It's part of the doctrine of the Jehovah's Witnesses. And because they believe God does not want them to. And they also believe that if they do receive a blood transfusion, that takes away their opportunity to be resurrected into the paradise. Okay, there will be no hope for the resurrection. That's how serious they are with their doctrine of no blood. And they also would carry a no blood card in their wallet. Some people would even have a bracelet that said no blood on it and stuff like that. What I want to say right now is this. The card is actually the card. Let me just bring up the card. The card allows the Organization of Jehovah's Witnesses to be the power of attorney in the area of a blood transfusion. Okay? So when you sign these blood cards, you're giving the organization power of attorney to make your choices in these areas or bring up other possibilities. Okay? So what happens when somebody is in a hospital and the doctor said they might need some blood, the liaison committee could be called upon by the patient who is a Jehovah's Witness, or the doctors may call them to come in to help the patient, a Jehovah's Witness patient, be faithful in their dedication to not receive a blood transfusion. So there's that.
I know with the hospital, at least where near me here, or when I had to go in, and they asked me, do you accept blood transfusions if you need one? In fact, I remember one time, I think the first time I went in there, they asked me. I got asked like 2 or 3 times, just to because they really wanted to make sure that it was okay with me.
Okay.
Like, yeah, go ahead, pump me full of whatever you need. You have any
Yeah.
blood of young children? Now help restore my youth, maybe. No.
Did you say that again? What
No, I
did you just
didn't.
say?
Do you have
Did
the
you
blood
just
of
say-
young? Do you have the blood of young
I'm
children
gonna
help
slap
restore
you,
my
child.
youth?
I'm gonna slap you so hard right now. Slap, slap, slap. You didn't mean any of that.
No, I didn't mean any of that.
Didn't mean any of that. But that is kind of funny. Oh my God. He didn't just say that, but yeah, he did. Okay.
Yeah, you have to watch what I have to say. You don't want to leave me alone.
So what I want to say about this is, even if you have a card, even if the liaison committee shows up, if you get in touch with a nurse or a doctor and you verbally say, I've changed my mind, that's all it takes to make the card and your previous commitment null and void, if that's what you want to do, if you do want to receive blood. Okay? The hospital has ways of setting it up to where it can be totally done in like very discreetly. People will not find out.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's the Hippocratic oath in play
Okay.
there.
Oh, okay. So yes, hospitals and doctors and nurses understand that's a need. They understand the coercion that's done for people who need blood transfusions. They may not be in agreement with the organization on these things. And then I want to add that there has been a change in the blood doctrine, where it's a recent change, where it is now up to a quote unquote Christian, aka Jehovah's Witness Christian, conscience, up to their conscience to get to store their own blood for future use. This has been forbidden all along since the blood doctrine has came into place. And it still says this on the card. So even though they have verbally gotten rid of it through a video on jw.org, the cards have not been changed yet.
This whole blood doctrine thing, does it come from some kind of obscure or Bible passage or something?
Yeah, and the way that they interpret it is, I believe, not interpreted very well. And if you go to someone and it's like a scripture in the Old Testament, but I believe they have something in the New Testament. It's kind of like Jewish belief system kind of thing. Mosaic law. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like she's saying, the Mosaic law is null and void. So it's stupid. She's right. It's stupid.
Oh, okay, that's.
But this is what Watchtower does.
Okay, so
They
it's
go
from
back
Acts,
to...
so
Go ahead.
it's from Acts 15:20 there, according to.
That would be the New Testament portion. XJW Curious, which he's just now announced he's going to be doing something on this blood. So that would be the New Testament, and Genesis 9 and Leviticus 17. When he does a video, let me just say this. The man does his homework, okay? He doesn't get up there and talk off the top of his head or from his gut or from what he remembers like I do. Okay? He does his homework. He's got it in front of him. He has facts all the way. Okay? When he shifts into I'm going to give you my opinion, he tells you, I cover it all in my next video, right on. I love it.
No, thank you for those references. I'll try and look that up.
So, yeah, we're going to be getting into the holidays I'm thinking at the end of August, when September starts, I'm going to start talking about the holidays, kids going back to school, things like this. And the reason I'm going to be bringing up the holidays is that Jehovah's Witnesses have been taught to not celebrate holidays. So I'm going to be bringing it up with a little bit of education and sharing some things I did when it became okay with my conscience. And it's not going to be done in such a way that if you've left the organization and it's still not okay with your conscience, it's not going to be done in such a way that you should celebrate holidays. My viewpoint is, if it's okay with your conscience, okay, these are some things you can do. But it's up to you and your studying and your examination for when and if it's okay with your conscience. I get that there's beliefs that we will carry from when we were in this organization, and until it works with us on why to drop it or why to shed it, go ahead and keep it, until if you keep it, you keep it, maybe you're just going to keep it, and that'll be the way it is. It's not my job to tell you what to believe at this state, but I will share with you my experiences, things that I've gone through, stuff like that, things I've heard of, and things like that. So I wanted to say thank you, everyone. What were you saying, Matt? Grey Wolf?
Oh no, just the whole mention of holidays just reminded me of when Halloween. I was dressed as a demon, and my 8-month pregnant and aunt was dressed as a nun, and I had an uncle who was dressed as a beer baron. So we had the pregnant nun, a demon, and a drunk. My Catholic grandmother was so proud that year.
I bet. I've been the devil with the blue dress on. I've been Tina Turner. I've been Moses. Yeah. I tried to talk my son into being the John 3:16 dude with the rainbow wig. He refused. So I didn't force him. He says, look up Leviticus 3:17. This is XJW Curious. It made me chuckle. Okay. Let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
So I'm going to say goodnight, everybody.
So this is near the end of the show, so okay.
You wanted to say something else?
No, I just wanted to take note of timestamps so I can look these up later.
Yeah, we're at the timestamp of 3 hours and 12 minutes. That's when we can think about that time. Yeah, it is right about the end of the show. So thank you, everybody that showed up tonight and took part of the chat. I just really appreciate those of you that are always in the chat. You guys are so positive, and you guys are really supportive to each other. And I just love that vibe that you guys give off. Thank you. I want to thank those that were here and didn't involve themselves in the chat, but were just listening. Thank you so much. I'm thankful that you showed up and joined me, Grey Wolf. And thank you for Dave, Diamond Dave, and Matthew, who showed up and joined us tonight. Thank you. And those that listened to the show tonight, thank you. And those that will listen to it later, I thank you as well. So I am going to say goodnight until next weekend. And thank you for being here. This is truly a highlight of my weekend, and I always enjoy it. And I will catch you next week. Bye-bye.
Later.